Check, 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 check. Hello, hello, hello. Check 1 2. Check Mike's mic. Check, check. Check, 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 check.
Check, 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 Ryan. Check, 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 Ryan. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check.
Check, 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 Mike.
Let's go, baby. They're going to do the anthem. We'll go right. From Chaska High School, it is high school football, the opening night of Minnesota State High School football in the suburban White District. Ryan Paul and Mike Schmidt here with you from Chaska High School tonight. The defending 5A state champion Chaska Hawks host the St. Louis Park Orioles. Here's your Rome team realty. Keys to the game, Mike. Chaska's varsity experience. They've got a young team this year. Experience-wise, lost a lot of seniors last year.
Yeah, they're very young this year, and I wouldn't even say young necessarily. I would just say they lack experience. Last year's senior class that took off, I mean, they won the state championship, and they left a lot of holes to be filled. We're filling them with seniors, but seniors that haven't seen the field a lot. So I got to see them play, got to see them get out there. But they're seniors, they're ready to go. It's their senior year, should be fun.
On that note, Chaska's receiving core much stronger than it has been in the past years. They got 4 more solid wide receivers up and down the lineup.
Yeah,
Passing game this year.
absolutely. I would look for them to get out and maybe huck the ball a lot more than we're accustomed to. Last year we didn't throw because we didn't need to throw. I mean, we got your brother Matty Paul coming in. He's going to be their senior quarterback. He's the captain of the team. He throws a great ball. Ethan Bachman, DeSalt. We got Snuggie in the receiving core, along with we're definitely going to get Spencer Getz involved as well. Those 4 players are all studs, and I look forward to them having a big game and a big year.
Chaska's linebacking core this year. Chaska's linebacking core last year, rather, was one of the strongest in the state. Defensively this year, the Hawks are a little bit thinner.
Yes, last year they had 3 all-state linebackers led by Steve O'Klotz, who in my opinion is the best player Chaska's seen in the last 20 years. Speaking with linebackers coach, Coach Young, he said he's the best player he's coached, and Coach Young's been in the program for nearly 25 years. He was my 9th grade coach when I was coming through, so not to age myself at all, but he said Steve O'Klotz is the best player he's had on his roster. We're going to look for Spencer Getz to fill that role a little bit. He's going both ways, as well as Nathan Schwartz on the outside backer. Gavin Erickson, he's a senior. He's getting one of his first starts, and I look for him to be a leader on the defense.
We are ready to kick things off here from Chaska High School. The Hawks won the opening toss and will receive here to start out the young 2020 season. Obviously, COVID-19 restrictions are in place. Only 125 fans from each team are permitted into the building tonight. 6 feet social distancing is in effect.
Yeah, Ryan, I mean, it's been a crazy offseason. I know St. Louis Park just kind of got started with their football and their training program. Chaska's had some stuff going throughout the offseason. St. Louis Park, I think, just got the notice 2 weeks ago. So they didn't have a freshman team for our freshman team to play. They're struggling to get the numbers. But let's see if that affects them coming out.
Kai Johnson to boot it for St. Louis Park, and we are playing football from Chaska High School under the Friday Night Lights. It's Snuggerud out of the 15-yard line. He cuts back to the right. Now he's off past the 30. Snuggerud to the 35, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Chaska will take over. 1st and 10 to open up the season on offense.
I can promise you that's not going to be the last time you hear the name Snuggerud tonight. Nick Snuggerud's one of the best players in the conference, if not the state. He was elite last year. He led our team in wide receiving yards. And not on top of that, he's a special kicker, too. He's a weapon out there.
First varsity start for Matthew Paul, the senior tonight at quarterback. The 6'5", 180-pound senior saw 6 games last year, was 4 for 8 passing. And, Mike, as we talked about in the pregame, we can expect to see a lot more throwing the ball from Chaska this year.
Yeah, we should see him wing it. They moved to more of an RPO offense, and Matty's he's got a special arm and a special talent. Watching him grow has been special.
Ball officially on the 38-yard line. Chaska working right to left across your screen. Paul, no drop, throws it to Bachman on the far side. Caught. 6-yard gain for the Hawks to the 45-yard line, and Chaska will have a 2nd and 3.
Ethan Bachman's one of the elite wide receivers out here. Him and Matty Paul have been working together since they were in about 4th grade. I had the privilege of coaching them along with current offensive coordinator Jamie Susner and Ethan's dad Troy Bachman, who's a local legend.
2nd and 3 officially for the Hawks. From the 46. Hand off. Oh, it's a fake. Paul throws backwards to Snuggerud. Snuggerud has it at the 50. Cuts back on to St. Louis Park territory. A juke move and a push out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Snuggerud a 1st down, the 1st of the season for the Hawks.
That's just a playmaker making a play. Your brother Matty Paul just delivered a beautiful pass on a kind of a broken play there, and Nick got the ball in his hands, and he did what he does. He makes people miss. It's fun to watch him, and I mean, honestly, I expect big things out of him, 1,000-plus receiving yards, and I expect Matty Paul to put on a show this year.
Hawks move the chains on 2 plays.
That's another Chaska Hawk 1st down.
Inside St. Louis Park territory, Paul 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, hands off. DeWandis Yeomans up the middle, his first carry of the night. He's up across the 35, gain of 4 for DeWandis Yeomans, the senior.
Yeomans is going to have to be our big running back out there. He's going to have to carry the load. We lost a lot with Steve O'Klotz and Marcus Haslick. I mean, right now we're a little bit undersized at RB outside of him. I know we have a couple sophomores that look all right, but he's going to have to be our inside the tackles runner this year.
2nd and 5 from the 33. Hawks go 4 wide. Yeomans in the backfield. Paul in the shotgun. Hard count. Paul rolls out to the right, gets hit as he throws. Deep flag on the play. It's incomplete. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage as the incomplete pass is intended for Nick Snuggerud down the sideline. We'll check the flag the first of the night from this MSHSL officiating crew.
We'll see what the flag is here. Maddie took a pretty big lick there at the end of the play. They also could have gotten a pass interference downfield, in my opinion. Snuggie got mugged down there, and it looks like there was no flags down the field, so this is going to be something in the backfield. Looks like it's going to be out in St. Louis Park as he's discussing with Coach Dahl.
Still waiting the call. All MSHSL officials
it's on
wearing
on
masks
Hawks.
this year, and it's a illegal substitution on the Hawks. Backing them up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 11 from the 38.
You know, that's something that we're going to have to watch. I know we have 2 sophomores starting on the offensive line. We've got Caleb Rector out there, and as well as Smalley. I coached them both last year. They're both very, very talented players, but we got to make sure that they keep them in order. I would look for the senior captain on the offensive line to get that fixed.
2nd and 11 after the penalty. In motion is Carver Miller, the junior. Paul deep down the left sideline has Snuggerud, and he catches it. Bachman rather at the 5-yard line, and the Hawks move the chains. They'll hustle down. It'll be a 1st and goal for Chaska on the first drive of the season.
I would expect to see quite a bit of that this year. I mean, Ethan Bachman, 6'4", 180-pound senior, runs about a 4.5. He is a special wide receiver. I can't wait to watch him roll this year. Matty Paul with just a beautiful ball. Honestly, those two are probably going to be the most dynamic duo in the conference.
A gain of 25 for Chaska, and they're inside the 10-yard line. From the 6. Paul hands off. Yeoman's up the middle. Yeoman's across the goal line. Touchdown, Chaska.
That's what I love to see out of a first drive. The state champs coming down, just driving the ball down the field at will. Snuggerud getting involved, Bachman getting involved, Jonas finishing it off with a nice run up the middle. I know that there was some concern about the size on the offensive line for Chaska, but that didn't seem to affect them at all as they moved the ball very effectively down the field. Let's see if the defense can back it up.
DeWandis Yeomans, the 5'11 senior, gets the first touchdown of this Chaska Hawks season.
Right there, I mean, that drive was led by the seniors and the captains. Matty Paul and Snuggie. Snuggie started it off with that great return, which was it just shows his playmaking ability. Matty connects with Ethan Bachman twice. We run Jonas up the middle. That's the recipe for success for this Hawks team. They're going to have to continue to do that, get the ball in the hands of their playmakers and let them go. For Matty's first drive as a captain and as a quarterback, I mean, it was special. You didn't see many mistakes. We had a little hiccup with the illegal man downfield, but that's okay. You can handle that. You can weather that as long as you're moving the ball. And I just look for that to continue. Matty's so poised. I mean, he didn't come in as a starter last year, but that's just because we didn't need to throw the ball. I firmly believe that he would have been capable of leading that team. And I look forward to it. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We got a touchdown on the board already. I see some fans actually up in the hills. And just dealing with the COVID limitations. They're socially distanced, but they're able to watch the game from up in the hills. And let's see the Hawks defense here.
It's a Yeoman 7-yard touchdown run for Chaska's first score of the season. Snuggery boots the extra point through, and the Hawks are on the board.
Ryan, right here, something I would look for, and the Hawks used it quite a bit last year. Nick Snuggerud, in my opinion, is the best kicker in the state. Yep. He was snubbed from the All-Metro team in the preseason, in my opinion. He's an absolute weapon with his ability to put the ball wherever he wants. Last year, the Hawks recovered, I think, 3 or 4 kicks that weren't designed onside kicks. They were pooch punts a little bit down the field, but they were just able to recover it. The coaches called a play from the sideline, and Snuggie goes and gets it.
Snuggerud, the kicker, had a 52-yarder in that state tournament game. And he boots it deep here for Chaska. Into the end zone, it'll be a touchback. Nick Snuggerud's first kick of the season goes through the end zone. And St. Louis Park will start at the 20-yard line.
Snuggie's got that big leg. He made 2 45-yard field goals in the state tournament last year. Just barely missed a field goal from I believe it was 52-53, just a shade to the right before halftime in the semifinals game. Look for him to be a big part of it. I mean, obviously he's a huge part of the entire offense, but his ability to, be good from 35, 40, 50 even is special.
Right. St. Louis Park comes out 4-5 last season, got bounced from the playoffs in the first round of sections. And Will Dvorak, the junior, 5'11", 180, starts at the quarterback position here for the Orioles tonight. Snap, high, handoff to Opegard, and he's strung down at the 20-yard line. Gain of maybe one. Chaska defense comes out firing on the first play from scrimmage.
Nathan Schwartz with the tackle there. Good discipline not to get too far upfield on that read play. He's going to have to step up big time in the run game. I know that they might bring in other outside linebackers for the pass rush, but he's going to have to play a big role for the run defense.
2nd and 9, it was a gain of 1. Dvorak with Zeke Opegard, the junior, in the backfield. Another high snap, play action, strung out to the left. McCabe Dvorak, brother of the quarterback. He's a tough tackle, but they wrestle him down. A gain of 1 again. It'll be 3rd and long for St. Louis Park.
McCabe Dvorak, senior captain for St. Louis Park for the Orioles. He was their leading wide receiver last year. Now he's got his younger brother throwing him the ball. If I'm the big brother in that situation, I'm chirping to him to give me the ball as much as possible. He looks like a tough tackle. He's a big boy at wide receiver.
3rd and long for St. Louis Park. Opegard in the backfield once again. To the left of Dvorak. Another high snap. Rushing is Nathan Schwartz off the left side. Incomplete pass intended for Dvorak at the sticks. And it'll be 4th down. St. Louis Park will punt.
I'm sure McCabe Dvorak wishes he had that one back. Kind of went through his hands as he was on the sidelines at the sticks. Might have been a 1st down if he could have brought it down. Good stop by the Hawks, though. Love to see it.
Fourth down, out comes the St. Louis Park punting formation. Dvorak will punt for the Orioles tonight. Punts away, it's short, good hang time. Snuggerud hit as he goes for the reception, and the ball will roll down at the 40-yard line. St. Louis Park downs it.
Ryan, I don't know how that's not a penalty on St. Louis Park. They clearly impeded Snuggy's ability to catch the ball, which definitely cost the Hawks about 8 yards there. We got close on the block. It's good to see them being aggressive on special teams. I would have liked to see the refs be a little bit more aggressive with the flags there, because Snuggy was definitely impeded when he went to make a fair catch call.
Hawks take over 1st and 10 from their own 42.
Let's see if we can wear out this Orioles defense. I see McCabe Dvorak going both ways. He's playing outside linebacker here. We just had a nice long drive, and the offense went 3 and out. So let's see if we can go ahead and get a nice long drive.
Yeoman set to the left of Paul in the backfield. Hawks go 4 wide again. Snuggerud in motion as a jet sweep. Snuggerud right to left. Checks back at the 40. Stiff arm pushed out of bounds just around the 45. It's a short gain for Chaska.
That was nice defense there by St. Louis Park. They played discipline. Christian Arteaga with a nice play to string that play out long enough to get Snuggy to the sidelines. Everyone knows how slippery he can be, so that discipline by 9 on the Orioles was pretty impressive, the junior.
Hawks play calling. Jamie Sussner came over from Benilde St. Margaret's as Brian Dahl took over the helm of this Chaska team. They won a state championship last year with Griff Wirtz at quarterback. They lost 2 great running backs in Steve O'Klotz and Matt Kuntz.
You can't really replace those guys. I mean, you just got to basically adapt. Those 2 are such special players that, filling those roles is not going to happen with underclassmen.
Up the middle, Yeomans is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Great tackle right up the gut by McCabe Dvorak, who comes in at linebacker for the Orioles.
McCabe Dvorak clearly showing that he's the heart and soul of that St. Louis Park defense and offense right now. They targeted him twice on the first drive. He's got a couple nice tackles here so far. I would look for the Hawks to maybe air it out. We got a 3rd and 8. This would be a nice hitch situation, or maybe an RPO here. Let Matty take over.
Hawks with a wide formation once again. Trips on the right side. Bachman on the near side. 3rd and 8 yards to go. Paul, 3-step drop, steps into it. It's wide for Snuggerud, and it's incomplete.
Snuggie was on a wheel route there. Maddie threw a good ball, just barely got over the top of Nick Snuggerud. You know what, going forward, I just want a little bit more aggression from the Hawks offense. I would have liked to see another long drive there, see if we can wear out St. Louis Park. They've only been practicing for 2 weeks, and I know that they're, if just looking at the sidelines, they don't have that many guys on their squad, so I think that fatigue is definitely going to be an issue for them going forward.
Hawks will punt. It's Snuggerud who comes out to punt for Chaska. Nolan Kemp, rather, who comes out to punt for Chaska. The junior steps into it. It's a spiraling punt. Going to be short, gets a Chaska bounce, however, and goes out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. That's where St. Louis Park will take over. Say, folks, we'd just like to remind you that Five Guys in Ryan DeSault, located at Flying Cloud and Eden Prairie Center Drive. Five Guys provides great handcrafted hamburgers and fries to help feed our players during the season, and I know the guys really loved that last night. Ryan and Five Guys brought over some burgers and fries for the Chaska football players. Next time you're hungry, stop in a Five Guys. That's at Flying Cloud Drive and Eden Prairie Center Drive over in Eden Prairie. St. Louis Park takes over 1st and 10 from their 21-yard line, working left to right across your screen.
Five Guys sounds a lot better than the spaghetti dinners we got cooked by our moms when we were playing.
There's moms listening.
Yeah, sorry, Mom.
Dvorak at quarterback, hands off to Opegard, stunts off to the left side, and he's swallowed up by a slew of Chaska Hawks. Short gain of 3.
They got 3 on the outside there. I'd like to see a little bit more penetration from the Hawks defensive line. I know that they are down Hunter Brackey, who is a very, very talented player. He's one of the few juniors from last year, seniors this year, that got a lot of run on the defense. So they're definitely missing him. I'd like to get a little bit more penetration up the middle, like I said.
2nd down and 7.
That Hawks senior defensive line, Isaiah Martig, Colesweefel, and Yusuf Hamza swallowed him up on that. And it's 2nd and long. Dvorak gets the snap. It goes over his head. Chaska will have a free shot at it. And Dvorak smartly falls on the ball right at the 5-yard line. And it will be 3rd and a country mile for St. Louis Park, trying to recover from the high snap. That's been a theme all night, Mike, is that snap has gone over Dvorak's head finally.
Yeah, and you know what? It's tough for a center in this situation. I mean, you got some big heavies on the defensive line. I mean, Colesweefel's up there, and like we said, we've got all seniors, Colesweefel, Hazma, and Martig. If they can get that penetration, it's definitely going to weigh on the center's mind. You got to love seeing that as a Hawks fan. And hopefully now that they're buried deep, we can get all Metro preseason corner Cage Montoya to make a play for us, or Jack Frick, senior captain at safety.
Cage Montoya led the team in tackles with 41 last year, had 4 picks in the regular season. Another high snap, and this is going to go out of the back of the end zone, and it'll be 2 points for Chaska, a safety from St. Louis Park.
You know what? That's a nice little gift, and you can't give that to the state champs. I would look for Chaska to take big advantage of this, maybe press the issue on this next possession and really put their boot on the throat of St. Louis Park.
So it'll be a free kick. St. Louis Park will punt the ball to Chaska. It's 9-0.
Yeah, when we talked with St. Louis Park's head coach earlier this week, they had Broxley Harmon as their starting center. He's a senior captain. I've been seeing him at guard lately. I don't know if that was a late week switch, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on going forward if those snaps continue to go awry.
Hawks would like to thank Mike Boyle and his great team at Unrestricted Marketing, whether it's developing a brand strategy, creating digital content, or designing and managing promotional apparel. Unrestricted Marketing will deliver an unparalleled and unbelievable experience. Go to www.unrestrictedmktg.com to learn more.
Mike Boyle's been a big-time supporter of this program, and we definitely want to thank him. He also had a great softball career in Chanhassen's Thursday Night League. He was a very good shortstop.
I'm sure that'll get him some extra business. Kai Johnson will kick for St. Louis Park as they will boot the ball. It'll be a free kick from the 20-yard line.
If I'm Kai Johnson here, I'm kicking it anywhere but number 6.
Yep, that's Snuggerud. Lined up deep. Also back will be Nolan Kemp, as well as Carver Miller, both juniors.
Let's see if we can take advantage of this and get some great field position and really go to work.
Great kick. Snuggerud over the shoulder catch from the 22-yard line. He stutter steps up across the 30. Breaks a tackle, and he gets to the 35-yard line before he's swarmed by St. Louis Park. And that is where Chaska will take over. It'll be officially from the 36-yard line for their third possession of the game.
That was a big, big kick by St. Louis Park, and it really, it was something that they needed. If Chaska would have had the ball inside their own 50, it would have been trouble for them. Like I said, I think fatigues. I already see some guys huffing and puffing on St. Louis Park's defense. They've been on the field. The time of possession is definitely in the Hawks' favor. Snuggie taking his time there. I like to see it. Most coaches would press the issue to get upfield, but with a guy like him, you just got to let him do his thing.
Braden Sanders in at quarterback for Chaska. He hands the ball off to Yeomans, who's up the middle, and pushed back across the 40-yard line. Yeomans, a lot of dives tonight so far, and he scored the touchdown down inside the Chaska 10 in their last drive.
You know what? It was nice seeing Caleb Rector get some big push there, as well as Ryan Mercer working it. I mean, Caleb Rector, sophomore, starting on the offensive line along with Leo Smalley, like we said, two sophomores. And, Caleb Rector was elite last year at the freshman level, and he actually moved up for the state tournament to be on the sidelines. He was the only freshman to do so.
2nd and 8 from the 36. It'll be a loss as the jet sweep failed. St. Louis Park snuffed it out well. Involved in the tackle was the senior, Derek Sandifer.
Loss of run on the play, tackled by a
That's what we were worried about a little bit was Chaska's size. They lost so many big heavies last year that, replacing them with a couple of sophomores on the offensive line, you don't know what to expect until these guys get a little bit of playing time. I know I just gave Rector a pat on the back there for his push last play, but they got pushed back and dominated there, and really they had nowhere to go.
Sanders still in the game at quarterback. Paul split out wide to the right. Hawks running a modified Wildcat here. Sanders is the second quarterback on the depth chart. He rolls out to his left, fires. It's tipped, but Bachman still able to dive and make the catch at the 46-yard line.
We got a nice little rollout to the left. It's usually pretty difficult for a younger quarterback to make that play, but he delivers an okay ball. It was tipped, but Ethan Bachman made the adjustment. Ethan's playing a big role here early, and looks like we're bringing in our heavy offensive line to go get this extra yard.
4th and short here for Chaska at the 46. We'll see what Jamie Susner dials up here. Try to push this across the 47, which would give Chaska a first down. Paul back in a quarterback. And they push across for the first down. Stop the clock and move the change. Chaska keeps the drive alive with a first down push. That was actually Snuggerud who took the snap rather at quarterback and pushed across to the first down.
That's kind of what we saw last year with Steve O'Klotz. He came into the game in short yardage situations and he just pounded the ball down the defensive throat. Spence is going to fill that role this year. He's got to step up. He's a senior. He's a captain. He's been a great player since about 4th grade, so I expect him to be able to fill that role well. Mike Langford moved the line of scrimmage there, which was huge for the Hawks.
6'2", 200 at 6 receptions last year. Sanders throws to the right, caught there, and a short gain for Chaska will get him out across midfield.
Sanders pass complete to number 4, Carver Miller.
Carver Miller, the junior, on the reception.
Carver Miller's been pretty involved in this game so far. He looks quick out there, and I'm excited to watch him grow. He's kind of Snuggie light at this point right now, the junior, and I expect him to take a big step forward and make a lot of plays this year.
So Braden Sanders quarterbacking this drive. Paul on the sideline. Hawks go 3 wide. DeWandis Yeomans in the backfield to the left, and a yard back of Sanders. Shotgun snap, handoff, option. Snuggerud bounces it outside. Snuggerud across the 30, across the 25. Snuggerud pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It's a big gain, and Nick Snuggerud puts Chaska inside the red zone.
Snuggie just, got the ball and he started scooting. It was great stock block out there by Ethan Bachman, and it's, having those 6'4", 190-pound wide receivers is definitely an advantage in the run game. You get guys like that out there stock blocking, helping out their running backs, and you're going to start getting big gains like that consistently.
Nick Snuggerud led the team in receiving yards last year with over 500, but he's showing that he can run the ball as well tonight. Paul back in the game at quarterback. In the backfield is Jack Boyle, the junior. Hawks going with a lot of different personnel here tonight in the offensive skill positions. Snap to Paul, handoff, Boyle, and he's across the goal line. Chaska scores once again. Jack Boyle with the touchdown.
Jack Boyle right up the gut. Great push by the offensive line. He wasn't touched until about the 2-yard line, in which case he was in that situation, he was able to spin off the linebacker's tackle and make the play. I think it might have had something to do with Boyle sponsoring that last segment.
UnrestrictedMKTG.com. The great people at Unrestricted Marketing produce a lot of the programs and other things for Chaska football. Snuggerud the point after, up and through the uprights. Chaska on the board once again, 16-0 over St. Louis Park.
There you see Snuggy again. I mean, his versatility. You see him moving the ball on the ground, and then we pound it into the end zone up to shoot, and he comes in and kicks the extra point. He really is a jack of all trades, and he's a special player. I'd look for big things from him all year.
Snuggerud committed to the University of St. Thomas just a couple weeks ago. He was listed as as a player to watch on the Minnesota Mr. Football preseason watch. And he scores here tonight, giving Chaska their second touchdown of the night. So far, it's been an interesting game from Jamie Susner, the offensive coordinator.
You know, and I kind of talking with him before the game, I thought it would be. They came out and they really opened it up. Since then, they've kind of pulled the reins back a little bit, and they've gone to more of a ground and pound. Like I said, the ball control for the Hawks has been spectacular in this first quarter. We've got 1:15 left, and I think St. Louis Park's had the ball for about 2 minutes. Ryan, it's going to be interesting here to see if Snuggy's going to put the ball through the end zone again, or if he's going to try a directional kick and see if the Hawks can get the ball back.
Snuggerud boots it from the 40. This one's going to be deep, and it is going to be received, although it's tipped and by St. Louis Park. The clock runs, and it'll be Derek Sandefur, the senior, who is gobbled up inside the 2-yard line. A miscommunication deep there for St. Louis Park.
Yeah, he went to jump up and catch the ball. Anything that's over your head in a kickoff is usually difficult. It ended up ricocheting right off his helmet and trickling into the end zone 1-2 yards deep. He had to go back and pick it up. He was only able to get it out to about the 2 here. The Hawks have another great opportunity at a safety here, Ryan.
Already have had one safety as the snap on their last possession went through the end zone. And the St. Louis Park Orioles take over on their own 3. Chaska, with this young defense, or this inexperienced defense that we've talked about, has really came out to play tonight.
If I'm Brian Dahl, I'm sending quite a bit of pressure up the middle right here, just to see if that center flinches. It'll be interesting. Looks like
they ruled it a touchback. So that'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line.
I'm kind of surprised by that call. I thought that the receiver touched it before it rolled into the end zone. I'm not super familiar with Minnesota high school rules. I maybe should be in this situation, but looks like we got a touchback.
Dvorak at quarterback. Hawks send pressure. Opegard the handoff. Bounces off a first tackle, but Nathan Schwartz gets in there on the second contact to swallow him up. A short gain. It was actually a no gain. 2nd and 10 from the 20.
The Hawks rolled into a cover 3 on defense there, which brought Grant Susner down into the box. Gave them a little different look, but it was a perfect defensive play call, and they were able to get the stop.
Second and long. Chaska running the 4-3 here on defense. Play clock winds down. Under a minute left in the first quarter. Dvorak, 4-step drop. Pressured there by Yusuf Hamza. He gets out of trouble. Completes to his brother, McCabe Dvorak, across the 25. And that will be the end of the first quarter. Chaska with a 16-0 lead after 1 quarter of play will step aside from Chaska High School as the first quarter has expired. We'll be right back on CHBN, presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics.
St. Louis Park Orioles.
We have the ability, as long as we're surrounded by the right people. Comebacks imply returning to where I've never been.
Hawks football would like to thank these great first quarter sponsors. Caliber Collision, restoring the rhythm of your life. Five Guys, handcrafted burgers and fries since 1986. And Unrestricted Marketing, your untraditional marketing warehouse.
And we're back from Chaska High School. Start of the second quarter here on CHBN. Chaska with a 16-0 lead on St. Louis Park. 2 touchdowns, one from DeWandis Yeomans, one from Nick Snuggerud, and they had a safety as well.
Yeah, the first quarter really went the Hawks' way. It was fun to watch. You know, they came out firing just like the state champs should. At the end of the quarter, Will Dvorak made a nice play to extend it and get 6 yards.
First play of the second quarter is a completed pass to Dvorak off of the near sideline.
Yeah, Will Dvorak makes another play here, this time to his brother, the senior captain, McCabe Dvorak, who, like we mentioned earlier, is going both ways. I do see that there is a Chaska Hawk down. Let's see who that is. Yeah, Cage Montoya is still out there. He's okay.
Looks like Nathan Schwartz is injured behind the play and walks off under his own power here with 11:53 to go in the half.
Looks like Nathan Schwartz might have had something with his shoulder there. The depth at outside linebacker is not great for the Hawks, so I would definitely keep an eye on that. It looks like he will be replaced by Ben Bowie, the junior.
First down for St. Louis Park. Ball on the 35. They're now working right to left across your TV screen. Want to thank everybody watching from Chaska Community TV, Channel 14. Thanks to Kevin Wright and everybody there for getting that organized. The handoff off to Opegard. No gain. He's actually swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss. Tackle for loss made by Gavin Erickson, the senior.
Yeah, Nathan Schwartz went down there, and they ran right at his position. Gavin Erickson coming across the field to make a great play. He's one of those guys who he was always just a grinder. It looks like, it was Grant Susner, Jamie Susner, the offensive coordinator's son that made the tackle. He came up from safety. He came downhill and attacked. His little brother is actually playing safety on the freshman team as well.
2nd and 10. They say no loss on the play. 4-step drop for Dvorak, who unloads deep. And it's over the head of the wide receiver, Derek Sandifer, the senior, who is out across midfield. Play broken up there by Chaska's Jack Frick.
Jack Frick is somebody I look to, take a huge step this year. The kid is just a stud. He's been a great athlete throughout his entire, growing up. He's a very good basketball player. He's got elite speed, good size. He's a guy that I really think can make a big impact on this defense. He also got a little bit of playing time for the state championship Hawks last year.
3rd and 10 from the 35 for St. Louis Park. Dvorak, the junior, another high snap. That's the 3rd one tonight, and it'll be Zeke Opegard who falls on it back inside the 20-yard line. That's really becoming an issue for St. Louis Park here tonight, is the high shotgun snap.
At this point, if I'm St. Louis Park's coach, I probably would move Michael Broxley Harmon over to center from guard and put Henry Eaton back at guard. Henry Eaton's a sophomore, and that's his 3rd poor snap of the game. the pressure up the middle has really got to be getting to him. Plus, I mean, as a sophomore, you're not used to this kind of environment. So, I mean, if that doesn't get fixed, it's going to be an issue all game. I would look for St. Louis Park to maybe make a change there.
So it'll be 4th and 25. St. Louis Park, no option but to punt. And punting will be Dvorak. Low punt, caught by Snuggerud at the St. Louis Park 40-yard line. He's inside the 35, where he is tackled down by a slew of St. Louis Park Orioles, and Chaska will take over with fabulous field position at the 34-yard line.
Snuggie with a return of about 10, 12 yards. They made one or two people miss. The Hawks have great field position. Look for them to press that advantage. I would expect a couple more runs up the middle and then maybe taking a shot to either Bachman or DeSalt on the outside. They clearly have the height advantage and the size advantage over this Orioles corners.
.10:08 to go here in the first half from Chaska High School. Ryan, Paul, Mike Schmid with you on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network, brought to you this evening by Twin Cities Orthopedics. Want to thank the folks at Caliber Collision, located at 1324 Crystal Lane in Chaska, for their support of Hawks football all season long. 32 metro locations. Caliber Collision is there for all of your collision repair needs. CaliberCollision.com. Sanders back in at quarterback, handoff up the middle. Gain of 5 for Chaska. Yeomans the carry. Another hard-pounding run from DeWandas Yeomans.
And that's kind of what I expected. You can see it just with the body language of the Orioles right now. They got a bunch of guys going both ways. Their defense has been on the field all game, so you're starting to see them move a little slower. You can tell they're huffing a little bit before the play.
Second and 5 to go from the St. Louis Park 34-yard line. Sanders still in at quarterback. Chaska changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Sanders barking out the audible. Sanders, pressure coming from the right, has an option in the end zone, throws it up, and it is incomplete. Contested throw, catch attempted by Colin Dussault, the junior, 6'4", 175. First time we've called his name tonight. Dussault, incomplete.
The ball was a little bit underthrown there. I think he could have taken his time and put in a little bit more on it. Dussault, again, is one of those guys like Bachman, 6'4", 190 pounds. Good size. I know he's starting to get a lot of looks from different colleges just because he's shot up over the last couple of years. And I expect him to play a big role in this offense as a deep threat.
Snap to Sanders, up the middle. Snuggerud, the ball carrier, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Chaska, brings up 4th down. And an interesting opportunity for Jamie Snuggerud in a spot where most high schools probably wouldn't kick. They might go for a kick here with Nick Snuggerud's big leg. 4th and manageable, though, for Chaska.
We'll see what he does. Looks like he's keeping the offense out on the field. At this point, I would maybe take the 3 points with Snuggie because he's about as sure a thing as there is in high school football.
4th and 6 officially from the 34-yard line. Sanders rolls out to his right. Tries for Snuggerud, but it is intercepted there by McCabe Dvorak. And St. Louis Park will take over, essentially just an arm punt for Chaska, but
yeah, it's a 6-yard punt. They ran trips to the right and they rolled out the junior quarterback. I know throwing on the run is difficult. I would have liked to see him maybe get established before trying to deliver that ball. He wasn't under too much pressure. The offensive line did a pretty good job. But when they run that flood, if we're not hitting our routes perfectly as wide receivers, then things can get a little crowded, and that can happen.
So St. Louis Park back on the field here after the interception by Dvorak. Boy, that Dvorak name sure has been called a lot tonight, too. The two brothers sure making their presence known. And that's what Coach Jason Foster told us would be the case here when we talked to him earlier this week.
With a shortened off season, you got to lean on your stars. And like we said, McCabe Dvorak coming back, he was their leading wide receiver. It looks like we might have a turnover here.
Chaska pointing like they got the football underneath the pile, but it looks like they're going to say it's 2nd down. They're ruling him down on the play. Chaska really thought they had the ball there, though, as they came out of the pile with it.
Yeah, they wanted it. You know, they've got they've got the nose for the turnover tonight, and they're really looking to push the issue. I like to see the aggression, and I love to see them fight until the play is dead. Hopefully, we can push, get a turnover here, and flip the field.
2nd and 8 for St. Louis Park. Ball on the 25-ish yard line. Dvorak in the shotgun formation. Opegard to his right and a yard behind. Snap, good. Dvorak to Dvorak, out for about a gain of 5. In on the tackle for Chaska was 35, or 36 rather, Cage Montoya.
Yeah, Montoya and Susner both had to take him down there. Like we said, McCabe Dvorak is a big boy out there, a wide receiver. He looks to be about 6'1", 200 pounds, and that's some good size. He is not an easy guy to take down.
Third and short for St. Louis Park here. Looks like the clock was stopped there for a while, and it was finally started. 6:42 to go in the first half. Dvorak in the backfield. Hands off to Opegard. Up the middle. Opegard tripped up. Shoestring trip. Otherwise, Opegard was loose, rather. It's a first down for St. Louis Park.
Opegard looks quick out there. It looks like our outside linebackers for the Hawks lost a little bit of discipline, got a little bit too far upfield, and they were able to slice it in there underneath them. Let's see if the Hawks can get a stop here. It looks like St. Louis Park still has Henry Eaton at the center, so let's see if that comes into play here.
First and 10 for St. Louis Park from the 37. Still yet to put points on the board. Dvorak, 5-step drop, short pass, incomplete, intended on the wide side. Therefore, his brother Dvorak once again. That connection, they're really pushing it tonight.
Yeah, you know, Cage Montoya allowed a catch in his zone earlier last drive. That won't happen very often. He's all Metro for a reason. He's been a very, very special player growing up. I mean, he scored touchdowns all throughout his CCFA days. He switched over to defense, and he's been locked down. Last year, he had an absolutely great year. Passes defended. He had an interception in the state championship game, and I just looked for him to build on that.
2nd and 10 for St. Louis Park. Dvorak in the backfield with Opegard. 3 to the left side. Long drop for Dvorak. He heaves it deep for his brother, but he's overshot by 5 yards. Dvorak, it was Dantes Ross, rather, who was going on the fly route. He had beat Cage Montoya down the field, but it was overthrown by Dvorak, and it brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, it looks like Ross might have had a step on Cage, but he was able to close in on it, and the pass was slightly overthrown. I think that right now St. Louis Park kind of expected a different look from this Chaska team. I expected them, talking with their coach, I knew that they thought that Chaska was going to come out, establish the run, try to pound everything down their throats. And, Chaska's come out very balanced, and it's been a very, very good look on the offense. And their defense, has capitalized on mistakes by the offense.
Penalty on the last play. We never got a call for it, but it moves the ball across midfield. St. Louis Park gets a first down from the 49-yard line of Chaska.
Looks like it must have been a pass interference downfield or a defensive holding.
First and 10, 49, St. Louis Park motions 3 guys around. Dvorak standing 6 yards back, gets the snap, hands off. No, it's a play action. Screen off to number 6, Sandifer, and he is swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Good tackle there by Chaska's number 1, Nolan Kemp.
That was a great play by Kemp. I mean, he comes up, he's undersized, but he took on a blocker, and then he went and made a play on the wide receiver. As soon as you start to see that motion, as a player, as a coach, you see that motion, they're obviously trying to realign something to get a matchup that they like, and Kemp just erased it right there.
So it brings up 2nd and long for St. Louis Park. Haven't really seen as much trickery tonight from St. Louis Park. We expected a little more in talking to the St. Louis Park coach, Jason Foster. He said they were going to run things by committee. We've seen a pretty consistent lineup. A pass goes in and out of the hands of Sandifer. And in came Cage Montoya looking for the interception.
Sandiford's got to have that ball. It snuck through his hands. He wouldn't have had, really anywhere to go. Cage was closing really quickly, but you got to make that play for your quarterback because that's one of those that's right border on backwards pass. And with the silly mistakes that the Orioles have made so far, they got to minimize that. So I would expect him to try to clean it up next time.
3rd and 13 for St. Louis Park. They huddle in the backfield.
Looks like we got Jack Frick basically playing center field here in a cover 3 for the Hawks. I'd like to see him get moving and go out there and make a play.
.5:06 to go in the first half. Dvorak rolls out right, wide side. He's got an opening, but he's got a long way to go. He heaves it downfield, and it is incomplete. Pass intended down there for his brother, McCabe Dvorak.
Susner with great coverage there. Him to stick with it that long. I mean, Will Dvorak created some extra time rolling to his right. Seuss, he was disciplined. He kept his reads, and he got downfield and was able to break up that pass. It was a great job by number 7, the senior.
So 4th and long once again for St. Louis Park.
It'll be interesting to see how the Hawks attack this punt. With the snapping issues that they've had on offense for the Orioles, I would expect them to be pretty aggressive here. And if I'm the punter, I'm not kicking it anywhere near number 6 in purple, Nick Snuggerud.
Snuggerud, the only one back deep. Hawks protecting the fake. St. Louis Park will kick it, though. It's Dvorak who boots it to Snuggerud. Snuggerud's going to let it ride, though. No, he picks it up at the 15-yard line, and he jogs out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. And with that, we want to thank Greg Butler of Edina Realty, who has a special offer for homeowners considering selling their home. Greg is offering a $500 credit at closing for a home warranty system, professional staging, or other home selling technologies to help you sell your home for more money. To add Greg Butler to your home selling team, contact Greg Butler at 952-484-8288. That's 952-484-8288. Call Greg today.
Greg Butler really does go above and beyond right now, especially dealing with COVID. Everyone knows how difficult it is to sell houses, but he's been, great with those virtual visits and everything like that. So thank you very much, Greg.
Paul back in at quarterback for Chaska on this drive following the Sanders interception, but he's pushed down in the backfield. It'll go as a sack for St. Louis Park. Looked like Henry Bendixson pushed him down in the backfield. The sophomore captain, the top returning tackler, had 39 tackles last year as a freshman.
Yeah, Derek Sandiford was there on Snuggie, so there was really nowhere for Matty Paul to go with the ball, so he just kept it, smart senior move. You take the sack, you take the 4-yard loss instead of maybe a pick 6 going the other way.
Up the middle, Yeomans gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but no more. So Chaska will have 3rd and long. DeWandis Yeomans really getting those calls tonight, Mike, where you need a couple of hard ground out yards, and it's Yeomans, the guy you call the 207, 5'11" senior.
Yeah, like I said, you're not going to replace the horses they had last year in the backfield, but Yeomans is doing a great job. He's driving his feet. He's able to create his own space up the middle and getting a nice push behind that offensive line, which, like we said, was very young.
Third and 11 for Chaska. Paul back to pass, quick release. Finds Miller, who I believe is able to reel it in. It was a great catch by Carver Miller, the junior, after Matthew Paul threw it behind him. And it's a first down for Chaska. Carver Miller keeps the drive alive.
That's Carver Miller. Like I said earlier, I expect him to kind of be our Snuggie light this year. He's really going to come into his own and start making special plays just like that. He moved the sticks, kept the drive alive. Matty Paul threw it a little bit behind him, but that's kind of what the play dictated. He had safeties over the top, so he threw a good ball.
1st and 10 for Chaska. They're now on the 34-yard line. Paul, quick release once again. He's got Bachman, who breaks a tackle. He's up across the 40. Bachman jukes a couple of defenders. He's across the 20, inside the 10. Bachman across the plane. Touchdown, Chaska.
You know what, Ethan Bachman, that was just a special play. He broke 3 tackles, caught the quick hitch, and took it to the house. He's going to be the kind of guy that's going to make plays for the Hawks all season like this. Last year, Ethan was a starter, but they barely got him involved because they didn't have to. They were able to run the ball down other teams' throats, but he is going to be a special weapon. Talking with him before the game, he said he wants 1, maybe 2 touchdowns and 120 yards. I think he's almost there in the first half.
Oh, they called him out of bounds prior to the touchdown.
I'm seeing Ethan right now. He's going over there having a few words with the sidelines ref. Let's see if we can punch one in here.
Touchdown for the Hawks. That's Spencer Getz, who took the direct snap, put it across the plane, and Chaska gets the 6 points anyway after the Ethan Bachman catch and run for a long way. Spencer Getz punches it in for Chaska from 3 yards out.
There it is, Spencer Getz, and that Steve O'Clott's role. If you watched a lot of high school or Hawks football last year, he's going to be the guy at the goal line that they bring in. 6'2", 200-pound senior captain. He plays both ways. He's a very, very special talent, tough to bring down. Ethan Bachman, I'm going to have to give him a hard time. I think his dad might have been able to get in there, but he stepped out of bounds.
Snuggerud in to kick the point after. It's good, and it's a 23-0 lead for Chaska with 2:49 to go in the first half. This is the score that the Hawks won by in week 1 of last year's game against St. Louis Park, 23-0.
Yeah, let's see if we can get one more on the board here before halftime, and then, you know what, I'd like to just put it on the cooler and let some of the sophomores get in and get a little bit of run.
Hawks rows are being played over the speaker system. There's no band in attendance tonight for obvious reasons with the COVID situation.
Yeah, just, peeking out over the field right now, I see about 75 players on the Hawks sidelines versus about 40 on St. Louis Park sidelines. I think, again, like I said, with the time of possession that we've had, this is going to definitely play a role. They're going to get gassed. McCabe's going both ways. There's only so much he can do, so I would look for the Hawks to maybe pick up the tempo here early and maybe into the third quarter, keep the tempo rolling, and then try to salt the game away down the middle.
Snuggerud will boot it deep from the 40-yard line. 2:49 to go in the first half. Chaska with a 23-0 lead over St. Louis Park. We want to thank everybody watching at Heartbreakers tonight, an annual spot for Hawks football fans. Heartbreakers Bar and Grill has outstanding burgers and pizza. They've got great drink specials as well. Heartbreakers is located in Chaska Commons, so get off the couch and stop by after the game tonight for some delicious food and beverages on the patio. Heartbreakers in Chaska.
Swing in to say hi to Sarah and Kimmy and the girls. It's a great spot. It's one of my favorite watering holes around here, and I know the coaches love it as well.
Yep. Like I said, an annual spot for Chaska. They're great supporters of the football team, and I believe they're airing the game on the TVs at the restaurant tonight, so thanks to those of you watching at Heartbreakers. We also want to remind you that if you'd like to download a digital copy of tonight's game day program, go to chaskahawksfootball.com and find the QR code on the homepage. Point your iPhone camera at the code and open up tonight's game day program to access rosters, player pictures, and even a note from Chaska head coach Brian Dahl. That's all available at chaskahawksfootball.com.
Ryan, let's see if they come out aggressive or just want to salt this one away before the end of the half.
2:43 to go, first half. Dvorak, play action, and it's a pass out to the far side, and it's in and out of the hands of his brother, McCabe Dvorak, and it's 2nd and 10.
That's something you don't expect out of the senior captain, but again, he's going both ways. He's playing defensive, or he's playing outside linebacker. He's running a lot of routes at wide receiver. I think he's their long snapper as well. So you see him, he's smacking his helmet. He's not happy with himself, but as fatigue steps in, you're going to see some more mental errors out of St. Louis Park.
Dvorak, the senior captain, had led the sub-district in receiving yards last year, averaged 20 yards a reception, had 518 total on the season. Timeout St. Louis Park on the field. That gives us a moment to thank Chaska Laundry Center for a fresh, clean environment that greets you every time you walk into the Chaska Laundry Center. The friendly attendants are there to assist you with all of your laundry needs. For those of you that are busy, the Chaska Laundry Center offers free pickup and delivery of all your dry cleaning needs. Check out www.chaskalaundry.com for more details. We also want to thank the Chaska Touchdown Club tonight for providing the live stream of tonight's game. If you'd like to help offset the cost of tonight's broadcast, check out chaskahawksfootball.com and click on the donate button. The Touchdown Club is a 501c3 organization, and all proceeds of donations will benefit the Chaska Hawks football program.
Yeah, again, I just want to reiterate the point there with the Touchdown Club. They have been such a big help with getting this up and running. I know that high school programs are struggling with money, so thank you very much.
Movement on the line, and Chaska will give St. Louis Park a free 5 yards. It'll be offsides against the Hawks. The right side move that looked like Isaiah Martig, who jumped across early.
You know, I don't know if Martig actually got into the neutral zone there, and I definitely saw the left tackle, number 50, for St. Louis Park move, but I guess whatever the ref says goes there in that situation. We got to be a little bit more disciplined.
So St. Louis Park scratches out half of the yards to gain, and it's now 2nd and 5, making things a lot more manageable here with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left coming out of the timeout. Dvorak takes a snap. Deep drop, still looking for an option, has an opening on the right side, cuts back across the 35-yard line, and he's brought down at the 38, but it will be a first down for St. Louis Park. McCabe Dvorak scrambles for a chain-moving first down.
That was actually Will Dvorak, the younger brother.
Right.
Yeah, Will Dvorak's made quite a few plays out here actually so far. He's been one of the lone bright spots for the Orioles. He's poised and he moves well.
St. Louis Park going quickly. Here's Will Dvorak, drops back, still no option. That Chaska secondary really showing up here on this drive. Heaves it deep, and it's dropped by Dantes Ross. He put it right in the breadbasket, and Ross let it drop right through the arms.
Will Dvorak creating time for himself again, and then he delivers just an absolutely beautiful ball on a broken coverage. You know, we had the corner out there who got a little tripped up when Will Dvorak started scrambling around, and Dvorak, again, delivers a beautiful ball, but it's just not caught. I think that's the third drop by the Orioles so far this game, and that's got to stop if they want to build any momentum.
Say, we understand we had some audio defects in the early part of the game. We hope we've got that figured out. If you are still having issues, go to watchchbn.com and send us an email with your issue in the platform you're viewing on. Hopefully you're not having any of those issues, though, and you're able to enjoy tonight's Hawks game from wherever you are across the country. St. Louis Park, 2nd and 10 from the 37. Dvorak 7 steps into the backfield. He's pressured by Chaska. He runs free across the line of scrimmage. He has to scramble and run out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A short gain for St. Louis Park. 3rd and 5 coming up here with 2 minutes and change remaining in the half.
Will Dvorak kind of playing backyard football again. He's been making plays, and that's something that we're going to have to monitor throughout the course of the game. The Hawks defensive line is going to have to be disciplined when rushing him because he's clearly shown the ability to create time for himself. So they have to maintain lane control, and the DBs have got to be aware of that, and they've got to continue their coverage even though they think the play's over.
2:04 left. This is Ryan Paul and Mike Schmid coming to you from Chaska High School. Will Vanderbilt producing and running camera for tonight's game. Thanks to him. Pete Wagner been a great help in getting this game going up on the live stream. It's 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first half. 3rd and 4 for St. Louis Park from about the 44-yard line. Rolling out to the left, Will Dvorak heaves, and it's out of the range of his brother McCabe Dvorak. Threw it under the sideline, and it'll bring up 4th down. St. Louis Park, with 2 minutes to go here in the first half, has an issue. 4th down and 5 yards to go.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I'm sure they're going to punt it here, but that was a big stop by the Hawks. Jack Frick can cover so much ground at safety. He is, again, he's just a special talent. He's a good kid. I'd love to see that out there on the field. He comes up with a big stop. McCabe Dvorak looked a little bit slower than he did in the first quarter running that route, and that might have affected it. Again, it's the fatigue thing. St. Louis Park's only been practicing for 2 weeks. McCabe Dvorak is right now slow getting into the huddle. He looks a little worn down, so I'm sure the Orioles are looking forward to halftime.
As you said, Dvorak going both ways. A starting linebacker, had 20 tackles last year in his junior campaign, and he also starts at wide receiver. He was the all sub-district wide receiver last year for the Orioles. A valuable asset for sure for St. Louis Park. 4th and 4 here. Dvorak tries hard count. 2 minutes to go. Play clock running down. The play clock actually ran out, but there was no whistle. St. Louis Park gets away with it, and it's received by McCabe Dvorak, who runs into Chaska territory. He's up across the 35-yard line, and St. Louis Park gets a first down. I know the Chaska fans were looking for a delay of game call there. I'm not sure why it didn't come because the clock was clearly on 0.
The coaches are definitely letting the refs know that what they feel about that last play. Dahl's out there talking to him right now. I would have liked to see the defense come through, even though that we didn't get the call. That was McCabe Dvorak again. He's out there. He's just a horse. He's tough to bring down. It's going to take more than just an arm tackle, so we got to make sure we remain disciplined whenever he's coming downhill at us.
Looks like the play clock on the north side of the stadium is not on, but on the south side it is. Maybe that had something to do with it. 1:51 to go in the first half on the game clock here. Dvorak in the backfield, motions Opegard off to his left. Hands off to Opegard, off the right-hand side. He's up across the 30-yard line, but he doesn't get much further. Gain of 5 and change for St. Louis Park as the clock continues to run, 1:39 and ticking in the first half.
Very little penetration from the left side of the defense there. I think that right now the coaches have him more in a little bit of a conservative role here. You're not going to see a lot of blitzing, I don't think. They're just going to try to hold him out of the end zone here with the final 1:23.
St. Louis Park moving a little quicker this time. Dvorak stands in the backfield looking for an option, has to scramble once again. We've seen him do it several times tonight. He doesn't get very far here, though, as he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage there by Chaska's defensive front, and a timeout here called by St. Louis Park. That was Erickson on the tackle for the Hawks.
Gavin Erickson made a great play there. We've seen how slippery Will Dvorak can be. He came down, he broke down, and he made a textbook tackle. Again, I didn't see a lot of pressure there out of the Hawks defense. We only had 3 men rushing with dropping 7. But, they kept their keys, and Erickson was able to come upfield and make a nice play.
Say, folks, wherever you're watching from tonight, tweet #CHBN. #CHBN on Facebook and Twitter. Tweet a picture or post a picture of where you're watching from tonight. Thanks to all of you watching in Chaska Hawks Nation and St. Louis Park. We are proud to be able to provide this game all over the country tonight, and on Chaska Community Television Channel 14 for Hawks Comcast or Chaska Comcast providers. What are you thinking so far, Mike? We got a minute left here in change in the first half. Hawks shutting out St. Louis Park. Have put up 23 points in the first half. A very different look from the Chaska Hawks this year from the state championship team last year, but it's proving to work here in week 1.
We spoke with St. Louis Park's coach last week or earlier this week, and they expected the Hawks to come out and just ground and pound.
Yep.
Very similar to a standard Chaska Hawks offense.
Yep.
But speaking with Jamie Susner and Coach Dahl, and just knowing that the talent they have at quarterback and wide receiver, we knew that we'd get a little bit of different look. So I think that St. Louis Park is kind of caught on their heels a little bit with that. The 23-0 score right now is obviously indicative of that.
Hawks held teams to just 61 points last season in the regular season. They only allowed 7 total points the entire season in the first quarter. They outscored teams 220 to 61 in that regular season, as I mentioned. 3rd and 6, as Greg Erickson emphatically expresses over the PA system. His first year of PA here on Chaska Hawks football game night. Dvorak gets the snap, drops back to pass, and he is gobbled up there by Nathan Schwartz. A big loss in the sack, the first of the year for the Hawks senior.
Nathan Schwartz left the field earlier with what looked like a shoulder injury. He comes back emphatically and makes a big sack, pushing St. Louis Park out of any really scoring range. Now we've got a 4th down from their own 39. The Hawks should get the ball back. It looks like they might just let the clock run out, though. Great play by Schwartz.
A huge sack by Nathan Schwartz.
And there's the timeout,
of
right?
Chaska, and with 42 seconds left, we get a timeout. We'll step aside momentarily. This is Hawks football presented by Twin Cities. Back with 42 seconds left from Chaska High School. Ryan Paul with Mike Schmid here tonight. Week 1 of high school football in the MSHSL. And Chaska dominating St. Louis Park in the first 2 quarters of play.
Yeah, the Hawks have really come out and they've really put the pedal down. They've capitalized on mistakes by the Orioles, and they've just done what they do. They're state champs for a reason, and it's fun to see.
St. Louis Park with a 4th and long after the Nathan Schwartz sack. Puts the Orioles in a tough position. Looks like they're going to go for it here. Dvorak, who's taken shotgun snaps deep all night, stands 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage here. Has 5 guys wide, and it's a false start penalty. It's going to back up St. Louis Park even further and bump them even further back out of scoring range.
You know, they jumped there again. That's just being undisciplined. It's being a little bit young, and it might be fatigue. I think that out of that look, they might have just done a little pooch punt with Will Dvorak. I don't know if they would be looking to go for it with Chaska's high-powered offense, getting the ball back with 42 seconds left. So now I would anticipate a punt.
Dvorak does drop back to pass. Throws it up deep, and it is going to be intercepted by Zach Schaefer, the senior, at the 15-yard line. And Zach Schaefer, his first interception of the season for the Hawks senior.
Zach Schaefer is an amazing kid. He's a great player. I'm really happy for him to see that happen. The coaches might have words with him when he gets to the sidelines for not just knocking it down. But you know what? You're a senior. It's your first game. Go get that pick.
Yep. Basically an arm punt again, as we mentioned earlier in the game. But Chaska, with 36.7 seconds left, has to get down the field for any chance to score here before the half expires. Paul back at quarterback. He's got Jack Boyle in the backfield with him for this possession.
We've got 2 timeouts here. I'd like to see 1, maybe 2 shots. Give Bachman a shot, or give excuse me, I'm losing it here. Give Snuggie the ball and let him create in space.
Handoff up the middle to Boyle as Paul's brought down to the backfield. About all 22 are involved on that push up the pile.
Yep, and it looks like the Hawks coaching staff's okay with the 23-0 lead going into the half. Can't blame them there. Let's see if they can expand on it.
16 seconds left, and it appears that Chaska might let this one tick away and take it to the locker room, content with a 23-point lead, 8-7-6-5, and it will be a halftime score of 23-0. Chaska, the defending 5A state champions, come out dominating St. Louis Park early on opening night. We'll step aside momentarily. We'll be right back with more from Chaska High School. You're watching Hawks football on the Twin Cities Orthopedics Chaska Hawks broadcast network.
I don't think there's really one moment that starts a comeback. We have the ability to overcome anything as long as we're surrounded by the right people.
I need a good group of people to trust, to work on my body.
I'll be back and I'll be stronger than ever.
I go, who are you? He goes, I'm the guy that's going to save your life.
Comebacks imply returning to where you once were. I want to go where I've never been.
Hawks football would like to thank these great second quarter sponsors. Greg Butler at Edina Realty, helping you achieve your residential dreams. Heartbreakers Bar and Grill, your local pub and grub, reestablished in 2018. And Chaska Laundry Center.
Swagelok of Minnesota, North Dakota, and Appleton are proud supporters of Chaska Hawks football. At Swagelok, our solutions are designed to perform under pressure, just like our Hawks football teams. We congratulate the Chaska Hawks on their 2019 state championship and wish them the best of luck this season.
Back from Chaska High School, Ryan Paul, joined now by Eric Krauscher, sports reporter for the Chaska Herald. Eric, great to have you back on CHBN.
It's been about, 6 months?
Yep, too long. Well, 6 months since we've got the chance to talk at a high school sports game.
Absolutely, and it's great to be back, I'll
Absolutely.
tell you. These Fridays in the fall feel different without football, so good to be back.
Halftime score, Chaska 23-0, Hawks coming off of the state championship in Class 5A. What have you liked so far about Chaska's game plan?
Well, if you look at the starting defense, and that was Chaska's bread and butter last year. There's only one starter back right now. You probably get Hunter Breaky back at some point. That makes two, but a lot of athletes. I mean, I love Spencer Getz on the defensive side of the ball. He moves tremendously. Awesome to see Grant Sussner back. He missed all of last year on the football with an injury, or 2 years ago, I should say, got hurt. Didn't come out last year. So to have him back at safety. So I like with the defense. I mean, the offense has got so many weapons that it's going to be really hard to keep them off the field. But the defense looked really, really good.
Well, it's interesting you noted to it earlier is that Chaska lost, a ton of playmakers on this from last year's state championship team, but they come right back out this year and show that they can do it just with different guys.
Yeah, and I think that's something that this program is trying to develop, that next group every single year. You look at the success of younger levels over the last couple of years, and you just knew they were going to be fine. St. Louis Park, they lost 17 seniors from last year. I think they have 35 guys in the roster. I mean, you're losing half your team. It's tough to come back. But you look at the Chaska roster right now, just flooded with juniors. They got a lot of playing time on that 10th grade level last year. So everyone just kind of fills in their spot. Nobody's trying to do too much, and it's going to be fun to watch these next 6 weeks.
I know you've got to run over to Chanhassen to catch the second half of that game, but just fill us in on what's going on around the Chaska athletics world.
Yeah, I mean, you had volleyball last night, and how fun that was. The parents at the beginning of the day thought we're going to have to watch it on some webcast, and then they're in the gym, and so you got that. Cross country just had their conference championships. Had 3 kids that finished all conference: Nolan Sutter, Ethan Leonard, Ella Long. Swimming and diving, they're just down to the last couple meets. Sections are in a couple weeks. So soccer, boys soccer team just won the Metro West Conference title, only the second time in program history. The girls gave up a great effort last week against Benilde. Their playoffs start next week. So it's funny that football and volleyball are starting, and everything else is kind of winding down. So we'll have some spotlight here for those two teams.
Yep, that's for sure. All right, well, I'll let you run off to Chanhassen to catch the second half of that game. That's Eric Krauscher, sports editor of the Chaska Herald. We want to thank you for your time tonight, and we will step aside one last time. Just want to remind everybody that if you'd like to download a copy of tonight's game day program, find the QR code on the homepage of ChaskaHawksFootball.com. You can point your iPhone camera at the code and open up tonight's game program to access rosters, player pictures, and even a note from Hawks coach Brian Dahl. Once again, we want to remind you that Chaska Touchdown Club is funding the live streaming of tonight's game. If you'd like to help offset the cost of tonight's broadcast, make sure you go to www.chaskahawksfootball.com and click the donate button. The Touchdown Club is a 501c3 organization, and all proceeds benefit the Chaska football program. That's all at chaskahawksfootball.com. We'll step aside, and Mike and I will be right back with the halftime report. You're watching Hawks football presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics. Back from Chaska High School, Ryan Paul, Mike Schmid with you here. And we're just about ready to get things going in the second half. Mike just wanted to touch on the keys to the game once again. Keys to the game are brought to you by the Rome Team at Edina Realty. If you're looking for the keys to a new home, let the Rome Team use their expansive network to let you find your next home. That's RomeTeamRealEstate.com to get in touch with Emily and Jan Rome, both local legends around the town of Chaska. Emily and Jan Rome sell a lot of houses.
Yeah, Emily Rome is probably the best volleyball player in Chaska history, and she's also married to Eric Welter. Everyone knows the Welter family around town, famous for baseball.
Yep. So, Mike, as we touched on before the game, keys of the game, that Chaska varsity experience really hasn't shown to be much of an issue here tonight.
No, you know what? The kids came out and they're ready. I haven't seen. I mean, we've got one bad penalty where we jumped out, where we had an illegal man downfield. Didn't really affect anything. Everything else, I'm seeing a lot of poise from some younger players or some seniors with not a lot of experience. I love it so far, and I'm sure the coaching staff's happy.
Going back to that Chaska receiving core, we've seen a lot of different personnel looks tonight from Jamie Susner, but the Hawks passing game, how do you think that's going so far?
I think that right now the Hawks passing game is showing how strong it is. I mean, they went out there and they've kind of dominated this game. Ethan Bachman with a really long catch. I got a text from his little sister and his cousin, Novely and Brooke. They're happy about it. They get to watch it home on our network. And Snuggy's obviously been all over the field making plays.
That third key to the game, the linebackers, the defensive side for Chaska has looked pretty stout tonight so far. That inexperienced linebacking core for the Hawks.
Yeah, you know what? On that last drive, they really came out to play. We saw Schwartz get in the backfield for a nice sack. We saw Gavin Erickson play discipline control and get a pretty slippery quarterback in Dvorak and bring him down for, a very minimal gain. And I've also, the linebackers have been great, but our D-backs have played very well as well. I mean, we've got Schaefer's got the pick. We've got a Cage Montoya pass breakup and a Jack Frick pass breakup, not to mention a couple of nice tackles by Seuss.
We're just about ready to get things moving here. We have 60 seconds until the kickoff of the second half. What are some things you'd like to see Chaska improve upon here in the second half?
I really would like to just see them finish it off as quick as possible. I'd like to see some sophomores get run. I want to see maybe a quick touchdown. I know that we're kicking off. Let's get a defensive stop, set the tone, a nice long drive on offense, and then we can just kind of put this one away.
23-0. The Hawks had touchdowns from DeWandis Yeomans. His first touchdown of the season, I should say. What did you think of that Chaska run game? Obviously, that's how they scored the majority of their points.
Yeah, you know what? Once they got in close, they definitely turned to the run game, and it was absolutely effective. Jonas has been running the ball really well. He's been tough between the tackles, and I love to see it. That was one thing that I know the coaches and fans were a little bit concerned about was just, being able to pound the rock down the throat of the other team, just like they did last year. And you know what? They've gone out and shown it so far, even with the young offensive line that's led by Mike Langford.
Horn sounds, and we are prepared to get things going in the second half. It was a pretty clean first half penalty-wise. Again, we do just want to remind fans that if you'd like to download a copy of tonight's Hawks Game Day program, just find the QR code on the homepage of ChaskaHawksFootball.com. Point your iPhone camera at the code and open up tonight's program to access rosters, player pictures, and even a note from Hawks coach Brian Dahl. Additionally, if you'd like to help support the funding for tonight's live stream, which is completely supported by the Chaska Touchdown Club, help offset the cost of tonight's broadcast, go to ChaskaHawksFootball.com and click on the donate button. Chaska Hawks Touchdown Club is a 501c3 organization. All proceeds go towards the Chaska football program. Hawks will kick off to open up the second half here. Once we get things going, it seems like we are taking a little extra time. Mike, the teams did not go to the locker rooms at halftime due to COVID-19. They just sat on the hill outside of the building here at Chaska High School.
It's going to be a different look. This early, it's okay because we got this nice, beautiful fall Minnesota night. I mean, going forward, I would look for that to maybe be an issue with both sides. I mean, something that we might have to, figure out a solution for as it gets colder as we move, deeper into November. It might be an issue.
75 degrees and clear skies when we kicked off back an hour and 20 minutes ago. It's obviously cooled down a little bit as the sun has gone away. The lights are on here on Friday night as they are all across the state of Minnesota. It's great that we're playing football in the Minnesota State High School League as they have approved a total of 250 fans, which, to be quite honest, from the press box, it doesn't look as shorthanded as it might look. You can see up on the hill there is a group of Chaska students watching on the north end of the stadium as well.
We're missing the super fans.
That's for sure.
That south side of the stadium's not rocking like it usually is, but the parents are doing a great job of bringing the energy. It's awesome to see them out here. I've been familiar with a lot of these parents, and it's great to see those faces out here, and I'm sure that they're happy to be able to watch their seniors, their juniors, their sophomores play and contribute when, honestly, 2 months ago we didn't think this was possible.
Tickets were allocated in a very specific way. Each senior and junior football player got 2 tickets. And then each sophomore that would see the field tonight received 1 ticket, and spare tickets were given to senior students, which it doesn't appear that there are any of them in the bleachers tonight. So it looks like each player fulfilled their tickets to their families, and it's great that we do have 250 total fans in here tonight because a lot of states across the country, I'm assuming, do not have fans in the stands or aren't playing at all. So it's great that the MSHSL has approved play for fall football, and hoping going forward we can continue to play safely, both for the players, the coaches, and all the fans watching. We're glad that you've tuned in tonight on WatchCHBN.com or Chaska Community TV 14. Hope you are enjoying tonight's coverage. I'm Ryan Paul, joined by Mike Schmid, and we are getting ready to kick off the second half. The Hawks have a 23-0 lead. The defending state champs came out dominating in the first half. It was a run-heavy scoring offense for the first half, but the Hawks definitely threw the ball. Ethan Buckman had a long gain along the sideline, as did Nick Snuggerud. The Hawks also got a safety off a botch snap by St. Louis Park. And we are ready for the final 30 minutes of play. Nick Snuggerud tees the ball up at his own 40-yard line, and the Hawks will boot it deep to St. Louis Park. Deep for the Orioles is number 2, Dantes Ross, as well as the quarterback, the wide receiver, number 8, Will Dvorak. Or McCabe Dvorak, rather. There's 2 of them. Both prominent roles in tonight's game. Dantes Ross lets the ball go through the end zone. Snuggerud, who had a lot of touchbacks last year, has had 2 tonight already.
Big kick by Snuggie again. You see them let that one roll into the end zone, especially after the botch that they had last time where that almost cost them another safety. So Snuggie, again, proven to be a weapon not only on offense but special teams as well.
St. Louis Park takes over 1st and 10, now moving left to right in the all-white uniforms with black numbering and trimming. Will Dvorak, who's been busy along with his brother McCabe tonight, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage in the shotgun formation. He's got his junior running back, Zeke Oppegaard, in the I formation. He hands off to him off the right side. Oppegaard, a short gain and up to the 20-yard line. Looks like he was stuffed by the Chaska defensive front. Cole Zwiefel, the 305-pound 6'2 senior at nose guard.
Big Cole was definitely in on that play. He's not going to let them move the line of scrimmage. I was talking with Coach Wolf before the game, and he said Zwiefel might be the linchpin of their defense here. His ability to eat blocks and allow Gavin Erickson and Christian Rolfe to move is going to be a big part of this Chaska defense.
Just underway here in the third quarter of play, rather. Scoreboard on the stadium hasn't been updated to reflect such yet. Here's Will Dvorak, rolls off to his left. He's got Schwartz chasing him down from behind. Dvorak hit hard as he throws. He's got Ross down the field, though, and it's a reception for Dantes Ross across the 40-yard line, and St. Louis Park moves the chains.
I tell you, right now, Ryan, Will Dvorak showing me something. He's got toughness. He's gritty. He's making plays on the move. It's going to be tough for the Hawks defense to, maintain that as the night goes on. They're going to have to definitely contain. I would maybe look for a couple more outside linebacker blitzes. That would be getting Nathan Schwartz and Spencer Getz a little bit further up the field just to make sure that he's not able to move the pocket.
Seen a lot of east and west action. Good contain from the outside linebackers tonight. Haven't seen a lot of pressure in off the edges. St. Louis Park, a lot of rollouts, a lot of time back deep in the pocket. Play action for Dvorak. He's got an option down the sideline. Moving down the sideline, he's overthrown. He intended this one for Dantes Ross once again. Good coverage on the play by Jack Frick running along the sideline with him.
Jack Frick is one of the fastest players on the Hawks team. It's not going to be easy to get something over the top on him, and I think that Dvorak recognized that and kind of just got rid of the ball there. Jack Frick, again, all-around great safety, moves so well, great size. Just love to see him back there playing center field for the Hawks. He is going to be a big part of the defense as well.
Gavin Erickson, the middle linebacker, barks out the play to the defense as that he heads up. Dvorak, hands on his hips, shares a note with his running back, Zeke Oppegaard. St. Louis Park, two wide to the right, one tight end on the near side. Botch snap again, and it forces St. Louis Park to get on, to fall on it. And that's the now 4th botch snap tonight for the Orioles. It's a loss of 7 yards. And as you mentioned, Henry Eaton, the sophomore, really struggling at center tonight.
You know what? That was one of the first things that I looked at when the the Orioles took over the ball was who was playing center. They're sticking with Henry Eaton, showing confidence in the sophomore. Another tough snap there. I was thinking that maybe they'd move over to the captain, Broxley Harmon, but they're sticking with the young kid, hoping he gets it right. I'll tell you right now, it's not easy with big Cole Zweifel standing over the top of you.
That's for sure. Zweifel, as I mentioned earlier, 305 pounds at the nose guard position. That's intimidating from a high school senior. Silent count for St. Louis Park. Pressure off the side. Yusuf Hamza chasing down Dvorak. Dvorak hit as he throws once again. Lobs it up, and it's almost intercepted. Cage Montoya there diving, but it hit the turf, and it'll bring up 3rd and long for St. Louis Park.
It looks like we might get a holding play here on the Orioles, and yes, we do. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Dahl does here. Does he want to pin him all the way back, or does he want to leave it at 4th down and 15? You know what? Yep, that's probably the right choice. He just declined the penalty.
So it'll be 4th and 15, not 3rd and 15, as was previously mentioned. St. Louis Park has had a lot of 4th and longs tonight so far, and this is no different than that.
That's what you get when you make a lot of mental mistakes. When you can't snap the ball, it's going to put your offense in a hole, and it's going to make it difficult for everybody.
Back deep to punt is Will Dvorak. He does it all. The quarterback, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Good pressure from the Hawks. They call for fire. This one's short. It only goes about 20 yards, but does get a St. Louis Park roll down about to the 35-yard line of Chaska, where the Hawks will take over 1st and 10. It was a punt of about 40 yards for St. Louis Park and gives the ball back to Chaska with 9:32 to go.
You know what, if I'm St. Louis Park's head coach there, yeah, it's not a great punt, but with Nick Snuggerud back deep to receive it, I take that. It might have been a miscue, but it turned out pretty fortunate for them. The Hawks sidelines did a great job with their fire call, getting Cage Montoya away from the ball on that shorter punt. Let's see how the Hawks come out. I'd like to see him be aggressive through the air here early, maybe get Bachman a deep shot if he's in single coverage. Otherwise, get the ball to Snuggie quickly and let him make a man miss.
Jason Foster, the first-year head coach with St. Louis Park, has been with the team for 14 seasons as a defensive coordinator. Finally gets promoted this year. He was very gracious to speak with us earlier this week on the phone. Handoff to Humans up the middle, good for about 8 yards, and some extracurriculars after the play. That was actually Carver Miller, who gets the ball up the middle. Chaska really switching up that backfield tonight, Mike.
You know what? Carver Miller's really showing me something. He's been fun to watch. I'm not super familiar with him. I missed out on coaching him as a freshman, but he's really showing me something. He's got good quickness, good burst, and he gets through that hole.
Paul at quarterback in the shotgun. Has Miller with him still. Another handoff up the middle for the junior. This one not as successful. A slew of St. Louis Park Orioles. McCabe Dvorak heads up the tackle on that one.
Yeah, now that we've got that 3rd and short, I would expect Humans to get back in there as the power back. Maybe put Carver Miller back outside and just see what happens. Might be a nice time to take a shot. You've got okay field position, and the defense is definitely not going to be expecting it.
3rd and 2 to go here. 8:28 to go, 3rd quarter from Chaska High School. Paul in the shotgun. Hands off. No, it's a keeper. Paul trickles off the right side. Paul breaks free. He's got some blockers. Paul up across the 20, inside the 15. Paul to the 10, where he's finally strung down by the St. Louis Park Orioles. It's a break-loose gain of 40 yards for Matthew Paul, and Chaska gets down the field, moves the chains inside of the red zone.
You know what? Matty's always been slippery. There he made a great read. He could have given the ball. The play would have been dead in the backfield. We would have been, punting. He makes a great read. He gets outside. He makes a guy. He slips past the guy. And then Ethan Bachman with just amazing stock blocking downfield. The coaches have got to be happy with that. We mentioned it earlier with the size of our wide receivers and their ability to get on cornerbacks. That created an extra 20 yards on that run.
It sure did. Good downfield blocking, moving north to south. Hitting that next level. Ethan Bachman, textbook on that play. Snap to Paul, handoff to Miller. Miller breaks through, and it looks like he's in. Touchdown, Chaska. Carver Miller, the junior, gets 6 for the Hawks.
Carver Miller there again. I called him Snuggy Light earlier. I think he's earning his own name here. He's really been great. I mean, it's another run where he's patient. He takes his time. He's got great vision, and he hits the hole, and then he finishes crossing the goal line stretched out. I absolutely love to see it out of the junior.
Snuggerud in to kick the extra point. Hawks now up 29-0, trying to make it 30. The Chaska Hawks coming out firing here off that state championship win just less than a year ago. Kick is good from one of the state's best kickers, Nick Snuggerud, and the Hawks are up 30-0 on St. Louis Park early in the season here with 7:30 to go from Chaska High School. Now that we have a second, we just want to thank LuLaRoe for sponsoring tonight's game. Ladies, if you're looking for comfortable, fashionable, and fun clothing, check out Allison Turner's LuLaRoe Boutique in downtown Chaska. The store is located at 113 East 2nd Street in Chaska, or you can call 952-380-7032. That's 952-380-7032. Wear what you love and be you at LuLaRoe.
I know my wife loves LuLaRoe. She's been there many times. She's very happy with it. Lauren, if you're listening, I love you, and I appreciate it.
That's cute. 30-0 here. Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Ryan Paul and Mike Schmidt coming to you live from Chaska High School. Brought to you by Twin Cities Orthopedics tonight.
I'd look for Snuggy to bury another one in the end zone. Brian Dahl's got to be happy with the outcome. Come out, get a stop immediately, push their back, and then take advantage of good field position with the run game and with the pass.
Snuggerud kick from the 40-yard line. Boom, as Paul Allen would say. Another one through the end zone. And Nick Snuggerud continues to show off that leg. It's a leg that definitely could get him some action at college. He's committed to the University of St. Thomas for his post-high school plans.
He's definitely got a future. I mean, whether it's at wide receiver, at kicker, he can kind of do it all. He's just such a, he's got quiet confidence. Talking with Adam Wolf before the game, he said Snuggy really came into a leadership role this year. Last year throughout practice, Snuggy knew that he knew what he was doing. He kind of went through it and went a little slow. Now he's stepped into the leadership role, helping out the younger kids like Carver Miller.
30-0 here, 7:30 to go in the third quarter. Ryan Paul, Mike Schmid with you. Dvorak back at quarterback for St. Louis Park as they come out on this possession. Handoff to Opegard. It's going to be a loss, though, and Opie strings it out, breaks a couple tackles. Opegard off across the 22-yard line before he's finally wrangled down there by Chaska's defense. Gavin Erickson on the stop.
Dvorak did a nice job there just to make that play possible. I mean, it was another low snap. He gathered it up, and he was able to give the ball to the running back and make it, what would have been a loss into a 2-yard gain.
Opegard only 6 carries for 12 yards last year as a sophomore. Getting his fair share here tonight, that's for sure. Rollout handoff, Opegard. He's tackled there. Strong hit by Cage Montoya. Rather, Nathan Schwartz, who comes in for the hit. And it's a loss of 1 yard for St. Louis Park, bringing up another 3rd and long situation.
We highlighted the outside linebackers before the game, said that we had some question marks. It appears we don't. Nathan Schwartz has had a great game. He's got a sack and a couple big-time tackles. I'd look for him to, build on that and really grow.
Officially a loss of 2. It's 3rd and 9 for St. Louis Park. The Hawks, pressure coming here. St. Louis Park 3 wide. Another bad snap. It's low. Dvorak recovers, fires off to the sideline for Ross, but it's incomplete. It was a duck from Dvorak. I don't think he got his fingers on the laces as he had to recover from the bad snap. Brings up 4th and long for St. Louis Park.
As a former quarterback, it's so difficult to handle a bad snap and get a good pass off. It just throws off. I mean, with being a quarterback, everything's rhythm. Rhythm passing is so crucial in football, and if you can't get that, you're not going to be able to deliver a good ball, especially on a hitch route, which is a timing route.
St. Louis Park brings in the punt formation here on 4th and 9 with 6:17 to go in the third quarter. Dvorak, the punter. Snap off to his right. Has to get it off quickly. It's blocked by Chaska. It's caught by Grant Susner out at the 30-yard line. And Susner smartly falls down on it. And Chaska once again gets a break in the special teams department. Takes over at the St. Louis Park 29-yard line. Hawks already in scoring position. And it looks like Dvorak might be down.
You know, something that last year the Hawks did that was really, you know, it was kind of lost in how great they were. Is that they had such a good offense pounding the ball, and they had such an elite defense, but their special teams has been great. I mean, the coaching staff is doing an amazing job putting talent in the right spots. They get a punt block there to flip the script and get a nice short field. Gosh, Dvorak being down is really big for the Orioles. I hope he's all right. It looks like it might just be a cramp from going, maybe an ankle here.
Wouldn't surprise you. I mean, he goes both ways, almost has played every down tonight, special teams, offense and defense. McCabe Dvorak, the senior captain, 26 receptions for 500 yards last year, was a sub-district leader in receiving yards. He's down here. It gives us a minute to step aside and thank Twin Cities Orthopedics. You're trusted by some of the biggest names in sports, and they bring the same level of care to athletes of all ages here in our community. No injury is too small. Walk into any of TCO's 8 orthopedic urgent care locations. Open 8 to 8, 7 days a week, including Waconia. Visit tcomn.com to learn more. TCO is proud to support Chaska Hawks football, Soar Hawks, as McCabe Dvorak is ushered off the field under his own power.
Yep, it looks like we did have a cramp. That's really common in high school games, especially early in the season. You know, your body's still getting used to it. We spoke about the only 2 weeks of practice. Dvorak going both ways. He hasn't left the field. So seeing a cramp there, especially with a warm night like this, it's pretty common.
As I mentioned earlier, 76 degrees, almost unseasonably warm. We've had a week of warm temperatures, had a week of cold temperatures prior to this. Sanders in the game at quarterback, hands off to number 11, Jack Boyle, and he's off across the 20-yard line, nearly to the 15. Chaska inside the red zone once again off of the Jack Boyle carry for the Hawks at the first down.
Yeah, the Hawks came out there with a little bit different look. Humans was actually right underneath the guard, so it was kind of a power left look, and they took advantage of it. They created a hole, and the running back was able to get in there and create another first down for the Hawks.
If you've watched the Chaska offense over the last couple of years under the direction of Jamie Susner, you've really noticed how creative they get in the running game on situations like that where they'll tuck a fullback almost right behind the offensive line. It's 1st and 10 here from the Chaska 17-yard line, rather. Give to Boyle, up across the 15, and he's tackled down there by a slew of St. Louis Park Orioles. Thomas Moot, the junior, in on the stop.
Same look there for the Hawks, just on the right side. You saw Humans hidden behind the guard. On that, he goes and kicks out the outside linebacker, able to create the space for those 3 yards.
Michael Boxley Harmon, the senior captain for St. Louis Park, who had 35 tackles last year, 7 of them for loss. He was a little slow to get up. Looks like he might just be winded. This St. Louis Park team is already has a short roster compared to Chaska, but they've really been on the field a long time tonight.
Yeah, he's starting at guard and nose tackle, and I can tell you that's not easy.
Sanders gets the snap. Hands off to Yeomans up the middle. Yeomans bounces off a couple defenders inside the 10-yard line up to the 6, and it looks like he broke the line to gain for a first down. No, he didn't. They'll say it's still 3rd down. Chaska with a 3rd and inches coming up here inside their own 10-yard line.
Humans running hard there. I love to see it. He kept his legs going, and he almost got the first down. If the Hawks don't convert here, I would look to see Spencer Getz maybe taking the snap and running it up the middle.
Sanders manning the quarterback position on this drive. The junior. Hands off to Yeomans on the left side. He barrels through a couple of St. Louis Park tacklers, and he's across the line to gain. That's a Chaska Hawks first down inside the 5-yard line.
You know, a lot of the keys of which we thought we were going to be missing was a power run game in the play of linebackers, and both have been spectacular so far for the Hawks tonight. These young guys have come out, and they've really they've come in and filled in big shoes. I mean, like I said, we spoke about Steve O'Klotz, who's down at Iowa State. You know, you see Spencer Getz kind of filling that role in the power run game, playing outside linebacker. We also got Humans, who's running hard, and I absolutely love to see it.
Handoff to Boyle. He's across the plane. It's a touchdown for the Hawk junior, Jack Boyle. His 2nd of the night. Chaska back on the board again. It's 36-0 with a Nick Snuggerud point after pending.
Another great play there by the Hawks. They just overpowered a tired St. Louis Park team. Like I said, I mean, we've got number 55 senior captain Broxley Harmon going both ways. He's, you know, sucking air right now, and the Hawks just came out and enforced their will.
You know, we talked about it in the pregame, but this Chaska offensive line, for as young as they are, has really came out to play tonight. Caleb Ruchter and Leo Smalley, both sophomores, getting the start on the offensive line tonight. They've really shown what they can do tonight in the absence of Hunter Breakey.
You know what? Caleb Rector last year, I had the pleasure of coaching him. I'm working with the freshman team. And Caleb Rector last year, like I said, he was our best running back. He was our best offensive lineman. He was our best defensive lineman, best linebacker. He was just a great player. That's why he got the call up for the state tournament. And then also Leo Smalley. Leo Smalley moved bodies, and he got a lot bigger over the offseason, so I was happy to see him get the start.
Listed at 6'1", 235. After a penalty on St. Louis Park after the play, Nick Snuggerud boots it through. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. We didn't catch what the penalty was for, but it's another Chaska Hawks touchdown by Jack Boyle, and it's 37-0 Hawks over St. Louis Park.
That's exactly what the coaches were looking for out of halftime. We got 3:40 left in the third quarter. The score is 37-0. Now we might get to see some younger kids in there get their first taste of varsity ball under the lights on Friday night, and I'm excited for it.
Upcoming schedule for the Hawks a week from tonight at Chanhassen. Always a huge game for Chaska Chan. Only going to be 250 people in attendance, which is tough, but it's what we got to do in these current times. Then after next week, the Hawks Hawks host Orono. That game will be right here on CHBN, and then then on the 30th of October at Armstrong. Robbinsdale, the only team that Chaska lost to in their 12-1 campaign last year. Apple Valley and then at Jefferson round out the Hawks schedule. What games are you most looking forward to here this year for the Hawks?
Obviously, the Armstrong game. That was the one blemish on the record last year. I know that we're going to be looking to get back out there and make that right. They kind of caught us off guard last year. Tons of blitzing. They just sold out on the blitz. We didn't have our passing game rolling. This year we've got some different weapons, so I'd hopefully we can adhere that and go out there and make some plays against them.
Snuggerud another boot, and this one. More of a line drive, caught by Dantes Ross on the 5-yard line. He's up across the 15, and he is wrapped down at the 23 by a slew of Hawks players. Gavin Erickson in on the stop.
Yeah, the special teams coach is going to be happy about that. That was a gang tackle, which you love to see. I mean, anytime you get somebody as big as that returner for St. Louis Park, Ross, you're going to have to tackle him with more than one guy, especially when he gets downhill.
3:35 to go in the third quarter. Opening night in the Minnesota State High School League of Friday Night Lights. Ryan Paul, Mike Schmid with you here on the Twin Cities Orthopedics Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. We'll be with you for the 2 additional home games this year. Orono 2 weeks from tonight, and then Apple Valley on the 6th of November. Chaska, a tackle for loss on this first play of the possession for St. Louis Park.
That was Nolan Kemp coming up and just making a great play. He wrapped up. He brought the wide receiver down. I mean, that closing speed is special. He's going to be a great player for the next couple of years. I'm really looking forward to watching him grow into that role.
Chaska has a solid stance of juniors this year, Mike, and next year they'll definitely have some quality talent coming up as the senior class of 2022.
Yeah, you know what? That junior class is really showing me something tonight. The coaches were a little worried about it at first, but they're really coming out and playing calm, cool, collected, and I really love what I'm seeing.
Second and long for the Orioles. Handoff on this play is to Austin Amlis, the senior. They're getting Zeke Opegard a breather on the sideline. Amlis, the senior captain, no gain.
Yeah, that play's not going to work with Big Coles Weefel going up against the tired offensive line. He clogged everything up there. It was a really nice play by him, letting his linebackers come and clean it up just how the coaches want it. Lots of hands on hips and walking towards the line of scrimmage for the Orioles right now.
Well, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, got a late start to the season. They did have some summer conditioning, as head coach Jason Foster pointed out to us in our meeting earlier this week. But you stated it best. It's hands on the hips and huffing and puffing out there for the Orioles. Hawks really putting St. Louis Park through their paces in week 1 here. Dvorak back to pass, lobs it up deep out by the 35-yard line. No one near, however, and it brings up yet another 4th and long for the St. Louis Park Orioles.
Yeah, 99 for the Hawks there provided quite a bit of pressure. Might have, Dvorak heard some footsteps and ended up releasing the ball a little bit high there. So that was great pressure by the front line of the Hawks, who again only rushed 3. Ryan, right there we see a wholesale change with the entire defensive line, basically. That's what the Hawks have the advantage of doing right now. We've got more numbers this year than we ever have. And it's been great to see. That's what winning a ring does. It gets the numbers out, and you can see it's got an effect on the game.
Hawks, obviously 2015 state champions. Last year beat Matamidi, Coon Rapids, and St. Thomas Academy at state. Another blow up in the backfield, and it's an easy tackle for Spencer Getz, and Chaska will take over inside the 10-yard line on 1st and 10. It's been special teams tonight that have really done in the St. Louis Park Orioles.
That's exactly what we talked about earlier with the special teams being kind of the unsung hero for this team. They're so good on offense and defense that it goes overlooked. But really, I mean, what they do is they flip the field. That play was tough. Will Dvorak punts it right into the backside of his up back there. Those unforced errors, the fatigue is definitely showing for the Orioles.
Minute 49 to go in the third quarter. The Hawks have 10 yards to a touchdown. And this gives us a moment to thank the Rome team, who has helped thousands of families expertly transition into a new home. Emily and Jan are known for their service, integrity, and results. And they partner with clients to prepare, price, and sell their homes. Whether you're buying or selling a home, put the Rome team to work for you. That's RomeTeamRealty.com. Paul back in at quarterback on this drive. Doesn't have a long way to go, only 10 yards. Handoff to Wandis Yeomans. Yeomans bounces off a couple tackles, stumbles just before the goal line, though. It'll be inches to the plane for Chaska as a gain of 9 for DeWandis Yeomans up the gut.
Yeomans might be the player of the game so far. And you know what, for the Hawks right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've got that up back underneath the guard, and they're just powering their way through the goal to the goal line.
Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Paul in the backfield. Has Boyle and Yeomans in there with him. Boyle tucked behind the left guard. Handoff to Yeomans up into the pile, and he is in for the touchdown. DeWandis Yeomans for the score, 6 for the Hawks.
Yep, they're taking advantage of a tired defensive line right now and the mental miscues. The coaches have got to be happy with the execution and how their guys are going out and playing. Yeomans is having an absolutely great game. I mean, he's been out there driving his legs, hitting his holes hard, and you know what? I'm really looking forward to watching him the remainder of the year.
You know, this is an aspect of the Chaska Hawks game that we kind of questioned in coming into this game tonight, the running game. But it's shown that DeWandis Yeomans can really be a bowling ball out there, and Jack Boyle can take the handoffs when needed as well. Snuggerud's kick is good, and Dvorak comes and gives some words to Jack Frick after the play is over. But it's a 44-0 lead for Chaska here with a minute and change to go in the third quarter.
You know what? Speaking with Jamie Susner, Adam Wolf, and the rest of the coaching staff, they thought that they might have to come out and just wing the ball around in this game because they weren't very confident in their rushing attack. It seems that the backfield and the offensive line is kind of proving them wrong here, and I'm sure they're happy about that. The score of 44-0 is, it's really telling of just the mental gaffes that the Orioles have had and just the clean game that the Hawks have played.
St. Louis Park still walking out onto the field. You can just tell, it's been kind of one of our key points tonight, but just the sense of tiredness that St. Louis Park has kind of shown out on this field tonight. You can't blame them. They're short a couple of guys, and obviously after losing some of their top performers last year, Ellingson, the quarterback last year, led the sub-district in passing yards, and Aaron Ellingson has moved on as he graduated last year, and it was a big loss. It's proved to be a big loss. He was a two-way player as well, as are many of these St. Louis Park Orioles. Chaska just has much higher numbers, and it gives them the opportunity to put in some fresh bodies now and again. Snuggerud from the 40, he booms it down the field. This one's a little shorter, returnable for Dantes Ross, the junior. He's out across the 20-yard line where he is flattened down there by Cage Montoya for Chaska.
Cage Montoya not only showing up on defense, but also on special teams. He's so dang quick and slippery that he's tough to block out there, and he's such a great open field tackler that it makes him a big-time asset on that kickoff.
Nathan Schwartz also in on that tackle, and we've called Nathan Schwartz's name a lot tonight, Mike. I've been very impressed with his play on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, like I said, he's one of those kids that just really stepped up. He, at 6 foot, about 200 pounds, he's playing a lot bigger than his size right now, and I love to see it. Again, I know that the coaches last year, they had 2 all-state outside linebackers. Replacing those guys was not going to be difficult, but Schwartz is really doing a great job.
Minute and 4 to go here in the third quarter. Handoff up the middle, Opigard. No gain.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage is just not moving in the Orioles' favor right now. The big heavies up front for the Hawks are really pushing them back, and they're not going to get a lot on the ground here. It'll be interesting to see what they do as play calling goes going forward.
Second and long here as Jim Bach has stepped inside the press box. Mr. Bach, how's the school year going?
It's going great. Nice to see you. It's great to be out here.
Thanks for having us tonight. Jim Bach, obviously the principal of Chaska High School, is a fan favorite around town, and good for him to stop by and say hi. Second and long for the Orioles. Dvorak motions across Zeke Opegard, the junior. It's a handoff to Opegard up the right side, off tackle, and he is stopped for another gain of none, or maybe one, and it'll bring up another third and long situation for St. Louis Park.
You know, Opegard looks like he's going to be a good running back once he gets his feet under him. He's just not getting any push from his offensive line. It's making it very difficult. Again, the big guys up front allowing the linebackers to roam, and it's really been just all Hawks.
First quarter expires, and we will take a quick timeout. Chaska all over St. Louis Park on opening night. It's a 44-0 lead for the Hawks after 3.
Hawks Football would like to thank these great third quarter sponsors: Allison Turner and Lou LaRoe for comfortable, fashionable, and fun clothing in all sizes; Twin Cities Orthopedics, own your comeback; and Rome Team Realty. Emily Rome Welter and Jan Rome are your local.
You can go. Back here from Chaska High School, just the start of the third quarter. Rob Meisel, the Chaska defensive line coach, doing his classic "Let's Go Chaska" chant. We are Chaska chant, rather, as the fourth quarter commences here, as Chaska holds a commanding 44-0 lead here on St. Louis Park on opening night. Ryan Paul with you here on the Twin Cities Orthopedics Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network, along with Mike Schmid. Great night for football here. It's a beautiful clear sky under the lights on Friday night. Dvorak now working right to left across your screen. Has the ball in the backfield. Launches deep. St. Louis Park downfield. It's dropped by his brother, McCabe Dvorak. And Dvorak slow to get up once again.
Yeah, he was dealing with cramps earlier in the game, and it looks like cramps are starting to get him again. He's slowly walking back to the huddle. Yeah, it's so tough on the first game day, especially if you're going both ways. His brother unleashes one about 40 yards downfield trying to get him, but again, Jack Frick there with the size and the speed, he's able to break it up. Susner was also in on the coverage as well as Kemp.
Full sale personnel changes here for Chaska on the defensive side.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Schaefer in on that coverage, not Kemp.
Fourth down, and St. Louis Park will punt. 11:08 and ticking here. We are probably close to running time, if I'm not mistaken. Punt goes out of bounds right around midfield. It doesn't go out of bounds, but it will be downed inside the 50-yard line for Chaska.
Yeah, another kind of weird punt there, Ryan.
Yep.
It came out really low, and I noticed something there. The upbacks were definitely getting out of the way of that one. It'll be interesting to see who comes out here running the offense. I would imagine that a lot of the seniors might be done for the night.
Yep.
And it was a beautiful showcase for them. Matty
Absolutely.
Paul came out, played a perfectly crisp game, no mistakes. Led his team down the field, had a couple nice long completions, had a nice long run. Let's see who we Hawks start out with here.
Looks like Sanders will come out for Chaska at the quarterback position. He's seen quite a bit of time tonight, has Sanders, but obviously with a commanding lead like Chaska's had, you can afford to do that. Put in the junior quarterback. Up the middle, blast Yeomans, and he's up across the 47-yard line.
Yeah,
that was Boyle, actually.
Yeah,
yep.
Boyle's getting quite a bit of work now. Yeoman's probably done for the night after a great game. And you know what? Boyle's been pretty impressive too. He's definitely moving the ball. He's keeping his legs pumping, and I like to see that out of the young kid.
2nd and 5 to go here. Chaska crosses into St. Louis Park territory. Tristan Perkins, a senior, splits out wide to the near side. Sanders, option play, flag flies, handoff up the middle. Short of the first down line. We'll see what the penalty is. It was thrown at the snap. Could be a formation issue for Chaska.
I think that was Xavier Horvu with the run, number 47, the sophomore. I had the pleasure of coaching him last year. He's one of those guys that's just an absolute grinder. You can put him in any position, and he's going to go out there and find a way to get it done. He's a great kid, fun to coach.
Still 2nd down, 10 yards to go.
Infraction was on Chaska. 5-yard penalty here with 9:40 in running in the fourth quarter. This fourth quarter will go by quickly. 2nd and 10, wipes out the 5-yard run by Horview. Jet sweep option up the middle, keeps it, does Sanders. He's up good for about a gain of 3.5 across the Hawk logo in midfield. Gives us time to thank Swagelock of Minnesota, North Dakota, and Appleton. They're proud supporters of the Chaska Hawks football. At Swagelock, our solutions are designed to perform under pressure, just like our Hawks football teams. We congratulate the Hawks on their 2019 state championship and wish them the best of luck this season. That's Swagelock of Minnesota, North Dakota, and Appleton. So 9 minutes to go here in the opening night of high school football. It's 3rd and 7 for Chaska. Sanders rolls out near side, chased down by some Orioles. He fires wide out of bounds, incomplete, intended for Tristan Perkins, but he never had a chance at it. 3rd and 7.
Nice
4th and 7.
Nice edge block there by Reese Turner to allow the pass to happen. He came out of the running back position, really sealed the edge on 44, who's been one of the bright spots for the Orioles. He's a captain, Henry Bendixson.
Top returning tackler. He had 39 tackles last season as a freshman. That's a big asset to have for the next 3 years, Mike.
Yeah, I really noticed him last play in his discipline on that sweep route. He played it. He stayed still, got his read, and then made a play.
Tight formation on the punt team for Chaska. That's Nolan Kemp who boots it deep. It is going to take a bounce at the 5 and roll into the end zone. A touchback punt for the Chaska Junior with 8:04 to go. Next, as we mentioned, up next for Chaska at Chanhassen. A week from tonight. That game will be live streamed. As far as we understand, we will pass along any information to you on ChaskaHawksFootball.com and WatchCHBN.com.
Yeah, I know that the coaching staff from Chanhassen is still reeling from the bad beat they took at the Hawks Stadium last year. Cullen Nelson, their head coach, he's a guy who prides himself on having a disciplined football team and a bunch of grinders. And I look for that to be a battle, like it always is. These two teams that don't like each other, frankly, and it should be a nice fight.
It's we always say with any sport of Chaska Chanhassen, it doesn't matter how good or bad the teams are. You just never know what could happen in those games. That's a week from tonight. We will pass along all the broadcast information as it comes out. Handoff up the middle for Opigard. As the St. Louis Park front, that's Boxley Harmon, who was flailing his arms. He's disappointed with the pressure that the Chaska defensive front is getting on. That's Isaiah Martig, who got up there for the stop.
Max Hatfield really gutted through there as an inside linebacker coming in, getting his first action. He fired into the hole and made a nice tackle there.
7.5 to go here in regulation. 2nd and 11 following the loss of 1. Handoff left side. Opigard stumbles up across the original line of scrimmage, brought down on the play by Carter Benson, the junior.
Yeah, Carter Benson was in there as well as looks like Brendan Surr made a nice play, kept his keys, disciplined, didn't get too far upfield on the read play, and got to collapse down on the tackle for a no gain.
7 minutes to go here in regulation. All things considered, it was a very clean game from Chaska so far. Super promising as we go forward in this 6-game season this year. Dvorak still in the game at quarterback, gets the snap, looking for an option deep downfield. He fires deep. It's a line drive throw. Caught by Dantes Ross downfield at the 45. That's the longest completion of the night for St. Louis Park. It's a Dvorak to Ross Jr. Good for a St. Louis Park first down.
You know what, Will Dvorak has been special so far tonight. He's been probably the lone bright spot on offense for the Orioles. Seeing him move within the pocket, recognizing the fact that he's only getting 3 rushers, taking his time and finding a target down the field is something that you don't usually see from a junior.
St. Louis Park sticking with their starting offense here, down 44 to Chaska on opening night. Dvorak pump fake, has some pressure coming now. Chased down by Reed Mathers. Mathers still on him. Option downfield, blown coverage for Chaska, and it's going to be a touchdown for St. Louis Park, as it appears that Manny Kaplan got loose.
Yeah, we were just talking about, playing off your keys, being disciplined, but also Will's ability to extend the play. There, the cornerback bit on the under route. He didn't get back and recover, and we had, linebacker bodies chasing after the quarterback to make the play. The coaches aren't going to be happy with that. I know that there was a lot of young guys in there on that play, and it's a great teaching point.
I take it back. It was Brady Walsh, the junior, his first varsity touchdown, not Kaplan. So Chaska, a blown coverage with the second stringers in there. Brady Walsh gets a touchdown, and it puts St. Louis Park on the board here on opening night. To kick, Johnson. Bad hold, but he gets it through. It was a botched snap, and then the hold from Dvorak was wobbly at best, but it's...
I mean, that was a great play by their kicker.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got that up and in after that. It looked like he might have kicked the ball when it was flat on the ground instead of pointing up. And I would expect the Hawks to come out here on offense with a lot of younger guys. Let's see if they can play clean and keep the coaches happy. Otherwise, they might hear about it in film this week.
Yep. Well, these are good improving times here for good times to improve here for Chaska. These younger guys that are coming up the pipeline, and this is good varsity experiences. We saw a lot of this last year for Chaska, getting the younger guys involved in game situations against first-team guys.
You know what? It's absolutely paying off as well. We haven't really seen too much of a drop-off so far. A lot of the guys are stepping in, filling big shoes like we said earlier, and you know what? They're not skipping a beat. As far as the Orioles go, the last thing you want to see on your schedule, coming off a shortened, weird offseason, is the champs. The Chaska's come out and they just impose their will. They've done exactly what we thought they would do, and you know what? I think it bodes well for the rest of the season.
We spoke to Jason Foster, the first-year head coach for St. Louis Park. He noted that St. Louis Park is going to come out aggressive, and they attempted that at the start of the game, but it just didn't work out. And Coach Foster mentioned that they won the 7-on-7 summer league that they played in this year, and they're going to be respectable of the champs. You got to beat them to be the best. So not working out tonight for Chaska. It's a tough time for St. Louis Park. They're limited on depth. A lot of young talent, however, on the defensive side as they get a late straggler here and on the kickoff team.
Looks like he's running into the wrong side too. They got an unbalanced kickoff.
Back to receive is Carson Atterbury. Atterbury up across the 25-yard line. I believe that's Atterbury.
Yeah, that's definitely Carson out there. I can recognize him from a mile away. I had the pleasure of coaching him last year, the sophomore wide receiver. Him and his brother, Caden, there are two of the most fun kids I've ever had the pleasure of coaching, and I expect really big things from them in the future. Those two scored about 85% of our touchdowns on the freshman team last year, and both of them are very special with the ball in their hands.
So he's Mike Schmidt. I'm Ryan Paul, coming to you from Chaska High School. Will Vanderbilt, our crack producer here tonight. Appreciate everybody's support in getting this first game going. We'll improve through the next two games, but it's good that you're able to watch Chaska Hawks football presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics here tonight on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Sanders still in at quarterback. Looks like DeWantis Yeomans is in the backfield. High snap. Gets off for
Reese Turner.
Reese Turner, yes, that's right. Turner up across the 50-yard line. Reese Turner, first down for the Hawks.
Reese Turner's got a really bright future in front of him. Last year he was our workhorse on the freshman team. He came out, he runs hard, he's disciplined. And you can tell that because his dad played at Illinois. He's a coach on the freshman team, and he's a great guy.
the sophomore, Reese Turner, first carry of the season. Good for a first down across midfield. Hawks go 4 wide again in the backfield. Turner hands off left side, off tackle, but he's swallowed up there by the big starter at nose guard for St. Louis Park. That's John Barrow and Michael Boxley-Harmon.
Yeah, Reese didn't see a lot of size that big last year. Running into those big heavies is going to be tough. He kept his legs pumping. He was able to get a modest gain there. Like I said, I really do expect big things out of him. Maybe not this year with how well Humans is running, but next year definitely.
Gives us time to thank Qdoba Mexican Eats, a longtime supporter of Hawks football. Qdoba is located at Highway 41 and Pioneer Trail in the Chaska Commons. Qdoba has been serving up flame-grilled, handcrafted, and made in-house Mexican Eats for over 20 years. Don't forget to take advantage of the $8 meal deal when you show your Hawk card at Qdoba. Bad snap, it would appear on this one, and it'll back Chaska up almost 20 yards.
Yeah, we got the backup offensive line in now, it looks like, and they definitely feel it there. Snap was a little bit out of control over the head of the quarterback. When I was playing back in the day, I always used to tell my center, you know what, I can field the ground ball, but I can't catch a home run. Yep. So I would get down in a shortstop stance and just be ready for anything. In that situation, there was nothing Sanders could do.
Yep. Well, we've seen that a problem tonight for St. Louis Park more than anything has been the snaps and the special teams there. Chaska's definitely been able to capitalize off those chances.
You get that with young centers. It's not an easy job.
Yep. Flags fly prior to the snap. False start against the Hawks. And, I mentioned the Hawk card in the Qdoba ad. The Hawk card is available for purchase at ChaskaHawksFootball.com. I know a lot of people are interested in those great $20 cards that get you local deals to a lot of businesses around town. That's ChaskaHawksFootball.com for your Hawk card sales. They will not be sold door-to-door this year, so the best chance to get a Hawk card is ChaskaHawksFootball.com.
I swung by the pop-up shop that they had doing a sale earlier this year, and said hi to a couple of players, a couple of the moms, and picked up my Hawk card.
Yep, it's a great deal. Get great deals at deals at local businesses. Qdoba is included on that,
as well as Heartbreakers.
I know the crowd at Heartbreakers is watching tonight. Want to thank them again. Everybody watching across Hawk Nation for tuning in tonight. We will be with you for the 2 additional home games this year, Brian and Mike. At next 2 weeks from tonight, Chaska hosts Orono, and then November 6th, the Hawks host Apple Valley.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those games. Apple Valley was at TCO last year, so it'll be nice to get them out here on our home turf.
Hawks punting. Boyle boots it deep, and it is bouncing at the 40-yard line. St. Louis Park will let it go. It gets to about the 34, where Chaska downs the ball, and St. Louis Park will take over with just over a minute and a half to go here in the fourth quarter. We do, just before we make that point, we do want to thank Jeff Zwiefel and the folks at Lifetime for your partnership with Hawks football. Whatever it is you need to pursue in your healthy lifestyle, Lifetime is there for you. Stop in today and to a club or visit their website, lifetime.life, for more information.
Yeah, when I'm not doing this or coaching, I work at Lifetime Fitness. It's a great place. I really do enjoy it. And Jeff Zwiefel's, he's always walking through smiling. He's a great guy. Super happy to have him as a part of the program.
Want to thank all of our great Chaska football sponsors tonight. Their awesome support of the Chaska Touchdown Club is much appreciated, especially in a year like this where, it's kind of been anything but normal. The support of local businesses and has been really huge to not only getting this broadcast on the air, but just supporting the needs of this Hawks football season. If you do want to support tonight's broadcast, you can help offset the cost that the Chaska Touchdown Club is paying by going to ChaskaHawksFootball.com. Dvorak. No, it's a different quarterback
we got
in the
new
game.
Quarterback.
Looks like it is Zach Helfman.
Yeah, Helfman, the sophomore, he handled a tough snap there, but wasn't able to get much going. As a sophomore coming in, your first game, it's late. You're down by 37 points. You just basically take care of the ball and try to get a little bit of momentum going. You're getting your feet wet here, and you just try to minimize mistakes.
Just about a minute left, a minute and 10 seconds to be exact. Your takeaways from this game, most importantly on the Chaska side, they put up 44 points. They allow kind of a garbage time touchdown at the end of the game, but overall, almost a near-perfect performance from Chaska tonight.
Yeah, their ability to move the ball on the ground was something that we were worried about going in, and that, you know what, it doesn't seem like we have to be too worried about that going forward. Obviously, you know, St. Louis Park is a little undermanned, but they've got some big boys up there, and we are still able to impose our will and move the line of scrimmage on offense. We also were able to see the explosiveness in the passing game. Ethan Bachman was really, you know, he made a couple special plays out there. He wasn't needed to be used a lot again tonight, just like last year. But we have that talent in the back pocket, as well as Dussault, who's another big body. We saw him take a deep shot to him early, but he wasn't really involved after that, just because it wasn't necessary.
Dussault, the junior, listed as a starter tonight, saw a couple of targets. As we have 12 seconds left, Chaska will move on to play Chanhassen next week over at Chanhassen. We will provide broadcast information about that as it is made available. You can visit chaskahawksfootball.com or watchchbn.com for more information about that. The horn sounds and the Hawks walk away victorious tonight over St. Louis Park on opening night of this 2020 season. It's a 44-7 victory. Hawks play a darn near perfect football game tonight against a St. Louis Park team that has some improving to do.
Yeah, you know what? St. Louis Park knew it was going to be difficult coming out again against the champs. They're, you know, undermanned, undersized, and having a lot of guys go both ways makes it really difficult. The Hawks did exactly what we hoped and expected they would do. I'm super proud of them. They went out and played their heart out. A lot of these young sophomores getting their first win on Friday night, it's such a crucial thing, and it's such a great feeling. And as a senior coming out and just dominating on opening night, there's nothing better. You got to love it.
Hawks win 44-7 tonight. It's a opening night victory for the Hawks in dominating fashion. Say, folks, we appreciate you watching tonight on Chaska Hawks football presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics. For broadcast information about next week's game at Chanhassen, visit chaskahawksfootball.com or follow on Twitter at Chaska Touchdown Club. For Mike Schmidt and Will Vanderbilt, I'm Ryan Paul saying so long tonight from Chaska High School. It's been a pleasure to share this evening's game with you. Signing off from Chaska High School, the Hawks victorious 44-7. Have a good night, everybody. Soar Hawks.